All right. So it is 6:03 p.m. on Sunday, the 20th of February, and this is the February meeting of the West March Board of Directors. Let's go ahead and start with a roll call. Usually we go in alphabetical order by our first names. So that is going to be Andy, Brian, Christian, David, Jody, Jordan.
I am present. Andy.
I also exist.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And then Terza, you will be after me. I apologize for that.
Brian Knox here, current monarch.
Okay,
David Zucker.
that's okay. And then I actually go by Rose, so I don't mind. That's listed.
Okay. Okay, we usually go by mundane names, but Rose it is.
Rose is actually my mundane name that I go by.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
I only have Tirza listed on Facebook because then if somebody contacts me and says, hi, Tirza, I'm like, okay, you're a person who doesn't actually know me.
Oh, okay. I'll call you Rose then, since I think I know you. Okay, so Andy, Brian, Christian.
Here.
David.
David Zucker is the Prime Minister is present.
Jody Bagley, West March Board of Directors. Jordan.
Present.
And Rose.
Present.
All right. So the first item of business is electing officers. Usually we do that at the January meeting, but since we didn't have a full board, we postponed it until till this meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and read the general information about the Board of Directors, and then we'll get started electing positions. So the Board of Directors, West March BOD, deals with any government or outside agencies, businesses, or organizations, or any of the local chapters, subsidiary chapters, with regard to contractual obligations. It's composed of the monarch, the prime minister, and 5 elected members. An alternate member may be elected to fill in when another board member is absent. An election shall be held by the prime minister every January to elect members of the BOD. Only voting members may hold a seat on the BOD. Voting membership must be maintained in order to remain on the board. Candidates must announce their candidacy publicly and in writing to the prime minister in 1 week prior to the election. All candidates must be 18 years or older. All candidates must qualify with a simple majority confidence, no confidence vote. The winners of the election will be the 5 people who pass a simple confidence vote with the highest number of confidence votes, with the 6th person reserved as, as the alternate member. The alternate member may only vote in board meetings when another board member is absent. No person may hold more than 1 vote on the board. The board shall meet once per month or as needed, and all meetings shall be open to the public. Board of Directors meetings may be canceled by joint agreement of the BOD president and vice president. Should the membership of the Board of Directors fall below 5, the alternate will become a full member, and an election shall be held to fill the vacant seats until January. The board must have a quorum of 51% or more present to conduct any board business. Any member of the board who misses 3 meetings in a row shall be removed. Special situations may be given consideration by the board. And lastly, all meeting notes shall be made public via electronic posting or print copy upon request from anyone, mundane or member. Typically what we do for the meeting notes is we post them on CA AmpGuard. And I have made a new BOD 2022 meeting thread, and then it's also good to post them in the general West March forum as well. So the next item is electing officers. So typically what we do first is we elect the president, because the president is the member who conducts all meetings of the board. The president has the authority to break all ties for votes of the West March BOD. I think Amanda originally expressed interest in being the president, but since she couldn't be here, she changed that to being interested in vice president. So Is there anyone who has an interest in being the president? It typically should be somebody who's kind of familiar with the way things run, and has a little bit of experience, but not necessarily. I can certainly step up if there's not someone else who really wants to be president.
I nominate Jody.
And so we need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor say, hold your fingers up because I can see them. Is there anyone that's nay? All right, so that passed. So I will be president again and run the meetings. Thank you for your confidence. The next is going to be the secretary. We go a little bit out of order from the corpora just because the secretary is a really important position. It's a lot of work, but it's pretty crucial to the BOD recording the meetings and documenting everything. So the board of directors shall elect from their number a secretary who shall record all meetings of the board of directors meetings and publish them within 4 weeks. Publication is defined, as a hard copy or electronic retrieval, such as posted on a website. And that includes the CA AMPCARD forum that I set up. Is there anyone that is interested in stepping up to be secretary?
Question, can the alternate step up as secretary, or is the alternate not able to be elected to any positions?
So the alternate, I don't believe, can be elected to any positions. They can step up to be a voting member. But David, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They can't step into a position like just to help. Does that make sense?
That's right. So the alternate is making sure we can meet quorum if somebody is absent. If somebody has to step down from the board of directors, the alternate steps up and typically takes over their position, though if need be, we can hold elections again to reassign positions. But yeah, the alternate doesn't hold regular position.
I was pretty sure from reading it that that was how it was, but I wasn't completely clear from the way that the corpora wrote it. So I just wanted to make sure.
Are you interested in being secretary?
What was that?
Are you interested in being secretary?
Sure.
Do I have a second? Okay, Jordan, seconds. All in favor, finger? Any opposed? I don't see any. Okay, great. So, Rose, hi there. You can be secretary. So, like I said, I'm recording this meeting. I can certainly share the recording with you and help you with that because I've been secretary before. And so that tonight will also entail recording and publishing and distributing the results of our audit meeting tonight too. So, and Christian's also been secretary before, so
Yeah,
we
I was
can
about to
help
say,
you with that.
yeah, if you need help, I'm also here, and I've posted the last minutes already, so if you
Right.
need any help.
All right, great. So the next position will be, let's do the treasurer next. So the treasurer works closely with the Prime Minister in monitoring Kingdom funds, perform unsolicited audits of the Kingdom financial records, audit all records at the end of each Prime Minister's term of office before they're turned over to the next Prime Minister, as well as the middle of the Prime Minister's term. If necessary, seize all records and finances with approval of the President, the disposition of which must be handled at the next board meeting, and shall maintain the Kingdom's nonprofit status, which I believe is the tax filings. Is that correct, David?
Yeah, and half the time the prime minister ends up filing the taxes,
Uh-huh.
which is insanely simple for us to do. It's
Okay,
basically put down the names of 3 people and check a box saying, no, we haven't made more than $50,000. The treasurer, we need to add you to the Wells Fargo account so that basically you can keep an eye on me and make sure I'm not stealing money. And Wells Fargo is being difficult these days. So
so the
I-
treasurer position is going to really be active this term.
I mean, so what we should be able to do is I go into Wells Fargo, fill out paperwork. You go to your local branch a week later, fill out paperwork, and it be done. And at present, well, last time we tried doing that, Wells Fargo still had Leoric on the account and said he needed to approve everything. And 3 months later, they added me without his approval. I don't know what they're going to do this time. So we should be able to do it remotely. Wells Fargo is being stupid. We might have to go into person in a bank together, which I know makes it kind of difficult considering how far apart we are.
And that's not usually the case.
No,
So,
it's, well,
it's just,
usually there's events we're all at and we just spend a morning going to the bank, but we're already at Dark Shore, so it's not such a big deal.
right.
At present with COVID, we're not at an event.
So is there anyone who'd like to volunteer to be treasurer? Any nominations for someone to be treasurer? I will nominate, well, can I nominate as
So,
president?
let's-
I just
should we-
run the meeting, so I'm kind of just overseeing. It's up to you guys.
Is it
Should I-
reasonable to nominate Amanda? Because I can't do it myself, obviously, and Amanda would be the person that's closer to being able to.
I'll message her
with-
right
with,
now
Dave.
because I've been talking to her.
Yeah, let's do that because she expressed interest in being vice president. She is local. She could definitely meet in Santa Cruz or wherever it is for this term.
Right. We also need to hook up with Ian and get him booted off since he's no longer on the board. And yeah, it would be better if we could meet up with Leoric and go to the bank with him and get him booted. Wells Fargo last time said first, if you just get together operating agreement and get everyone to sign it, we'll be able to take care of it. So I did that. And the banker looked at it and said, no, I can't do this. The
Mhm.
same one I spoke with who said I could do it. So yeah, we should be able to do this remotely and it not be a problem. Wells Fargo is being stupid. We get it fixed and next year it won't be a problem.
Right.
So
I'm not getting an answer from her. I'm willing to do it. I can get down to Santa Cruz. I can travel with David. So I don't know how you feel about that though. I can't get a response out of Amanda, but it's something I've considered. It's not a job I've done before. I've done everything but liaison and treasurer so far on the BOD.
I mean, once we get that thing with Wells Fargo done, it's mostly keep an eye over my shoulder and make sure I don't screw up.
I mean, I'm really good with
Right.
paperwork. I've
Yeah.
spent 10 hours at the DMV in the last 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
So, Kaya, then are you volunteering for that?
I'm volunteering for it.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Great. Okay, so Christian, you will be treasurer. The next one is liaison. Liaisons responsible for contact with all outside agencies, maintain a mailing and phone list of all agencies the kingdom deals with, maintain copies of all contracts between the board of directors and any outside agency or subsidiary chapter. Do I have someone who would like to volunteer to be liaison?
So before volunteers, I want to ask, are current contracts currently stored and how are they currently handled?
think that's a David question.
So as far as contracts go, we've got not much. We pay Google for Google Drive. We've been working on with Facebook ads, those contracts. I've got, well, we haven't actually started that. It's just in the planning process. Those are stored on the Google Drive, the user agreements. Other than that, there's the contracts with the land, which are all stored on the Google Drive. If we finish moving our website to a new host, those will be new contracts. At present, Grix is hosting CA AmpGuard for us. Yeah, as far as contracts go, we've got very little.
We also well, it's suggested, I think, that we also oversee the contracts with like King City and the County of Monterey for Dark Shore and Farm. Because that does involve a contract and application, and should also be under the purview of the board. I don't know
Yes.
that those are stored anywhere, but that's also something else that we've done in the past.
So yes, the board looks over those and then also approves, because those sites require insurance. So
Right,
the board signs off on the event insurance.
right. So do I have a volunteer for liaison? That's gonna be Jordan. Or
But the long story is
Amanda.
everything is basically online and has no physical presence requirement.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, so the other thing that the liaison does is lands that are faltering, for example, or lands that are like up and coming for contracts and things like that, the liaison can reach out to them as well. And we've done that in the past, not specifically reaching out to the lands for audits, but for land contracts and those kinds of things, which again is usually online.
I nominate Jordan.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Great. So that is going to leave the vice president, and that is serve as president if the president is absent, and become president if the position becomes empty. So the last full board member is Amanda. And
She's interested, I know that.
right, she
So-
did express interest on the messenger thread.
Yeah, with that, I'll nominate her.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any issues with electing her to be vice president with her not being present in the meeting tonight?
No.
All right, so all in favor of Amanda being vice president? All right, vice president it is. All right, so I am the president, Rose is secretary, Christian is treasurer, Jordan is the liaison, and Amanda will be the vice president for the 2022 West March Board of Directors. And then Andy, if any of the positions become vacant, you will step into that position. And if any of our members are absent, then you can vote. Especially if we need to meet quorum. So you may not have a technical title, but you're very important. All right, so then the next thing on the agenda is to review and approve the January 2022 meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
I was not able to review them as my account is still needing a password reset. But
Okay, so let me, Christian, did you post the meeting minutes?
I posted directly, I posted them on the Facebook group. I am not able to get into my CA amp card account right now either. I'm trying to work on that.
Okay.
And they are on West March in the chat. Let me see if I
So
can
let
message
me-
them directly to you, Rose.
Let me go
As
ahead.
a question,
Yeah.
Secretary, going forward, does anyone have, or is there any reason that we don't do a like screenshot or copy paste version as an uncommentable post on West March?
I mean, we can also upload the file into the files on West March.
I just know from past that that's something that it hasn't really been done ever. So I was just wondering, is there an actual, reason, or just we haven't done it, so we haven't done it?
We usually post them in CA AmpGuard after they've been approved. So the December meeting minutes have been posted in CA AmpGuard. The January meeting minutes can be posted in CA AmpGuard. And that's important that they get put under the West March. I think it's general discussion or general announcements so that the general populace can see them. Not everyone uses Facebook, so we can do both. But they
Okay,
just need
that
to
was
be
my
posted.
question.
Yeah,
I wasn't
posted
saying
after
like
they've been
instead.
approved.
Okay.
So let me go
All right.
ahead and read a summary of the meeting minutes then from January. Present last month were Brian Andrew Monarch, David Zucker, Prime Minister, Christian Kaya, elected member, and me, Jody Begley, elected BOD member. We had discussion that we needed at least 4 people to hold the meeting, which we did, so the meeting proceeded. We reviewed the previous meeting minutes, and the meetings were December meeting minutes were accepted. We elected temporary positions to be able to run the meeting. I was president and Kaya served as secretary until more members were elected. And then we talked about having elections as soon as possible to make sure to fill the board before this meeting here. Brian and David will handle the emergency election. Declarations will be called for on the 23rd and elections held the last week of January. Audits. Jody and Christian have both reached out to their audit buddy lands. And I posted the audit guide. David reviewed the assigned buddies. Jody reached out to Valley of the Fallen, Shargata, SSD, Bremen's Fortress, Christian, Belial Peak, Sagers Hall, Crimsonwood, TR, Amanda, Namir Sancta, Misty Vale, Clockwork Spires, and Wavehaven. And David was Wyvern Spur. And we were going to reach out and give the land prime minister's information and guidance for submitting audits. Audit requirements were agreed that we do need something from each land. Jody brought up which lands did quals and which are just meeting. We need to start transitioning back to normal. Kaya would like to see online meetups continued so that our disabled players can continue to participate. The Monarch Orkins didn't think that online meetings will end, that this is becoming the norm. We talked about redefining attendance to include online participation, discussed what if someone's out of state, doesn't meet in person and all attendance is virtual. So, excuse me, Christian and Brian agreed that there are issues. Discussion regarding what defines attendance sheets and what falls under that. Is ORC entered credits enough? Christian did not think that it's enough and wants the actual sign-in so that we can see how lands are meeting and verify dates and times. Discord sign-ins as a screenshot. Christian suggested that when BOD elections take place due to the election crunch, the audit timeline and PM elections, usually the BOD falls back on just giving excellence if there's not enough time. We looked at discussed maybe possible corpora change. We basically talked about adjusting the corpora and the deadlines to allow lands more time to submit audits since we're kind of in this transition period. But we finally agreed that we were going to keep the current dates and deadline, Brian seconded, David abstained. Brian will work with David to change the corpora to move the BOD elections to December so that we don't run into this problem again, not having a board that's up and running and full in January. The audits will be due February 1st at midnight. We defined attendance records. Kaya asked if we accept the ORC as attendance sheet. Brian said we need the attendance sheet and not just a screenshot of the ORC. Jody clarified that screenshots of attendance sheets, we talked about placeholders, and that Kaya agreed that due to COVID, there's no need for placeholders. We talked about ledgers. Jody said that the ledger would be needed. All were in agreement on that. Bank statements would be needed if the land has a bank account. All agreed. All agreed that dues paid list was needed. If lands held coronation, that would be required, but we would be lenient if the lands did not. So what we agreed on and discussed at the minimum of our requirements for audits. Audits were due February 1st at midnight. Attendance sheets in the form of pictures of physical sign-ins or screenshots of sign-ins, copies of ledgers, copies of bank statements if available, and a dues paid list. Additional items may give an excellent dues requirements restart February 1st. There will be no update to the audit forms. And Kaya, we agreed we'll post the requirements, and that passed. We discussed Quixotic Valley's contract. David updated the PDF and suggested an email chain. We can't really finish it without a full BOD to sign all of the slots on the contract. So the Quixotic Valley contract was tabled until this meeting. Brian will reach out to their monarch and let them know what's going on. We talked about feedback to Porkins, Brian, regarding Andy Brown's all thing proposal. I didn't realize we did this much last month. So Brian said there are digital methods of sign-ons. We agreed that it was a corpora issue and not a BOD meeting, so we tabled that item. We talked about tabling it or removing it. We passed removing that item from the BOD agenda. We talked about a West March Zoom account or other. We talked about Discord, but the West March doesn't own a Discord account. Kaya brought up a YouTube, suggested a premium account. David thought it might be easier to do that, and Kaya was going to research that and bring her findings to the next meeting. David said that if we live stream, people can watch and bring up questions that the BOD may address during the meeting. We tabled that to this meeting. We talked about converting a change from the messenger thread, the unofficial chat that we use, to a Facebook forum. Kaya agreed that we should move it so it allows people to better see how the government works, and suggests a BOD room be created on Discord and it be locked to only BOD members. So people could see it. It would be more transparent, but they couldn't participate. We think the populace would benefit from the transparency, and David was going to contact Kyle to have that created. A motion was made that David was going to contact Kyle, that we move the chat out from Messenger to Discord. And that was tabled to this meeting. We talked about officers' insurance, and Amanda was not able. She's been the one that's been doing that research, and she was not in attendance, so that was tabled to this meeting. We talked about the yearly operation schedule, which is in the CAM Guard BOD thread. And we talked about the yearly operation schedule and the discussion for tax filings. We tabled that until this meeting since we did not have a full board. We opened up review of the annual West March budget. Kaya requested that Brian contact Amcard International to see if we need to pay their tithe this year. That was tabled to this meeting. And then we scheduled the next meeting to tonight at 6 p.m. Sorry, I tried to summarize that. That was longer than I thought. I didn't realize we did that much. So if I have a motion, does anyone have any questions? Is there
Motion
anything
to
anyone wanted to
accept?
discuss? Motion to accept. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor of accepting the January meeting minutes? Okay, great. Christian, did you vote yes? I couldn't see.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the January meeting minutes are accepted as read. And Rose, if you need a copy, I think I put them up on Google Docs. If you need a copy, I can help you copy and paste into the CAM card forums, kind of get that, help you get that set up. Okay.
No worries.
Okay, cool. All right. So here we go, audit review. Do we need to discuss the feedback that we've had from reaching out to the lands? I know the lands that I reached out to, I got pretty good feedback and nobody really needed any help with anything.
Yeah, I think we should go over any feedback we got back.
Okay,
Which I didn't get anything from Wyvern Spur. So.
okay. Did anybody, Christian, you reached out to Belial Peaks, Agers Hall, Crimson Wood and TR. Did you get any feedback?
So Aria Saltus and Blyles Peak were a definite no. Thor's Refuge, they were having some problems, they said, because of moving and had lost some records, but they submitted what they could.
Okay. And then Amanda reached out to Namir Sanctum, Misty Vale, Clockwork Spires, and Wave Haven, so we don't have a report on that. So that was a summary of the feedback we got. I'm not sure that we need really any action on that other than to dive into the audits. So what I'm going to do, since we have a lot of new members, is I am going to, give me a minute. I'm just going to read the section on audits. Okay. So there's kind of two parts to this. There's the land descriptions and requirements, and then the audit requirements. So audits. So audits. The kingdom may audit any sponsored chapter, and this is Article 9, sponsored chapter, Section 2, audits. The kingdom may audit any sponsored chapter at any time to ensure the smooth operation of the sponsored chapter. And I know this is long, but I think it's important just so that we're all kind of aware, and people that are watching also. The Kingdom Board of Directors shall conduct regular audits of all lands every 6 months. All chapters must provide the following requirements: copies of attendance sheets for the past 6 months, examples of recruitment, including but not limited to samples of advertising media, photos of activities, or a written description of how new players are brought to the park, copies of financial records and ledger for the past 6 months, copies of bank statements if applicable, meet attendance requirements, details of any emergence that affected regular meetings of the land. Principalities, duchies, and baronies must submit a list of current officers, a list of current dues paid members, the results of most recent crown qualifications, and the most recent crown election results. Audit periods are January 1 through June 30, due no later than August 1 at midnight Pacific Daylight Time, and July 1 through December 31st, due no later than February 1 at midnight Pacific Standard Time. Audits will be given ratings by the Board of Directors. A land submitting all required items will earn an excellent rating. A land missing one required item but provides everything else earns a pass rating. A land missing more than one required item will earn a failed rating. If the Kingdom Board of Directors fails to post the results of the audit within 1 month of the deadline, all lands automatically receive excellent ratings. If a chapter's audit is not received by the date set forth by the West March BOD, it will be considered an automatic rating of fail. All groups must maintain minimum attendance requirements equal to 75% of the numbers they needed to become their current size. Promotion and demotion themselves are not automatic, but require approval of the Kingdom Althing and Kingdom Monarch. If a sponsored chapter passes 2 consecutive regular audits with excellent ratings, as well as meets the requirements for the proposed status promotion, they will be informed by the Kingdom Monarch that they have the option to place their chapter on the West March Althing ballot for promotion consideration. The land must approve promotion consideration by a vote of 51% at their next Althing. If the land approves, the land monarch shall inform the Kingdom Monarch for inclusion at the following Kingdom Althing. If a sponsored group fails 2 consecutive regular audits, they will automatically be brought before the West March Althing vote for demotion consideration. So that is what we look at and consider for the audits. So if everyone is ready to get started.
Real quick, Jordan, were you able to do your audit? I also see yours isn't filled out.
No, I was not. I was still trying to figure out what exactly was required.
So what's required is David posted a link to all of the audit packages that were submitted.
Yeah, I'm in that right now, and I was looking through it, kind of just trying
Okay.
to figure out what exactly was going on. So,
Real quick, I didn't get an answer about this earlier, but which lands do we know have bank accounts from past audits?
I know Thor's Refuge has a bank account.
Yeah.
River and Spur.
Wyvern Spur and Wave Haven. Those are the ones
Okay.
that I remember have a bank account.
I know Thor's Refuge does. Saragata has one.
Okay.
Does Misty Vale have one? I don't know.
Who's their prime minister, David?
Oh, that's changed recently.
Yeah.
This is gonna be next month when everybody's done with elections, update the list of who all's
Yeah.
in charge.
So
let
in
me
Seven
pull
Sleeping
up-
Dragons, I felt like had one.
Brian, were you at Misty Vale's mid-rain yesterday?
No, but I think their PM is going to be a silent judge.
True. David, do you have access to the old audits?
Yeah.
Can you check?
Yeah, Silent Judge is the current PM of Misty Vale. As of what, 3 months?
Because
And
Brandy
then-
moved, right?
She moved, but who else was doing that work? Anyhow,
I believe that
According to
Dargon,
their packet, it was 4
I think Dargon was serving as prime minister for a while.
Dargon was
um,
doing a one-man show for a bit.
Okay, and I just got a message, Silent Judge is still the prime minister.
Yeah, that's
That was
my
from
latest
Hera.
notes.
Yeah,
We were looking at previous audits for
Bank accounts.
bank accounts.
Because I feel like Crimson Wood also had a bank account.
They did at one point. I'm pulling that up. Did they, what was up with their account? I feel they closed it at some point. I'm looking at their audit package and that doesn't have bank ledgers in it.
Okay, so they might have closed it.
Yeah, I think they closed it. It was something similar to what CR Gate is doing. It was under a private individual and they
Yeah.
ended up closing it. 2019, it was marked as no ledger.
Okay.
Who
but that's different
else?
from a bank account.
Well, they had a financial institution holding their money in some form.
They did.
Yeah, it's the same as a bank account. If it's a private account or a park account, it's still an account.
Yeah, I mean, Wyvern Spur doesn't have a bank account. We use a credit union, right? it's still a financial institute holding it, which
Which the whole point of submitting the bank account information is supposed to be so that, you know, people can't just be like, oh, well, we took the money and it wasn't in the cash box, so obvious it's like ours, you know. Like it shows proof that the money is there, that it, whatever's happened with it has been, you know, recorded.
SSD in 2019 marked they did not have bank statements. And the prime minister that has ever ministered wrote a wonderful poem for their letter.
Yeah,
These were good. Lots of personality.
I know. I
Yeah.
love the letters. That's like my favorite part.
Is there anyone else specifically we were wondering about?
I think that's it. I'm going to message Gail real quick to see if they still have a bank account, just to get full confirmation on that.
Yeah. Hera said from Misty Vale that she's not sure about if Misty Vale has a bank account or not. I don't remember that they do.
Right.
What's the
I wouldn't be
past
surprised
audits?
if a lot of people who had them also closed them, seeing as they're very difficult when you have a lot of officer turnover. And there was a lot of officer turnover during the pandemic due to everything being crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the reason why we're auditing, is to see
Ooh.
who has what.
Misty Vale does not have a bank account.
Okay.
I'm looking at something from 2019 where they checked off they did.
Misty Vale?
Misty Vale.
So we might want to find out when that closed.
List.
As we review lands, I'll bring up concerns.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and get started on the audits then? Start ticking them off and then we can revisit the bank accounts for individual lands. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let me, all right.
Bank statements, but you don't have any bank statements.
Are you guys ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right.
Ready.
Agers. So the way that I think would be good to do this is we'll go down, you know, a land at a time. They're in alphabetical order. We can discuss any concerns that we have with them. And then what I'd like to do is go in alphabetical order after we've had our discussion and give our grade of them. And then since Amanda is not here to participate, I think having Andy vote as well. We don't, and I'm gonna leave this up because we don't need his vote for a quorum, but I think as a placeholder for Amanda for the audits, it would be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Do we have discussion on that? You guys have ideas on, is that okay or not?
Isn't
I'm
that
fine
the
with that.
entire point of having an alternate?
That's, I just am
Yeah.
putting it out there that, and that's what I would like to do, but I just wanted to make sure
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
everyone agreed.
Yeah, she submitted
agree.
her grades as well. And she wanted to abstain from one of them, even if she could make it. I think she's still trying to make the meeting.
I think because she's not actually present, I think, Andy, I'd like to have you vote.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, does anyone have any nay vote on that? Thumbs down if you do. Okay, all right, so Andy will use your votes too, okay?
You got it.
Sweet, okay, so we're gonna go Agers Hall. What comments do we have on Agers Hall?
They didn't submit anything, so I marked them as a fail.
Yeah, I second the fail.
Does anyone have anything else besides that? All right, so what we've done before is we've gone through a member at a time and, said your grade. So let's go ahead and do that because I think with other lands, it'll be different. So where's my list? Andy,
Yes, what was the question? Sorry.
grade on Agers Hall,
Did not submit,
so fail.
so fail.
Brian,
Fail.
Christian,
Fail.
David,
Fail.
I vote fail. Jordan,
Fail.
Rose.
Fail.
All right, so Agers Hall gets a fail. The other thing that I wanted to also bring up is, and maybe we can do this at the end, but in the audit results archive, we've kind of crossed out 2020 and the beginning of 2021, because everybody got an excellent because, so I think going forward, we need to consider in the section on audits of demotion or promotion, I think that those two audit periods kind of need to I think we need to start from scratch is kind of what I'm saying. So Agers Hall gets a fail.
Could we list out which lands didn't submit and then just go through those all at once? Because I think that'll knock out 5 of them right away.
Second that.
Okay.
I think it's actually like 7 or 8.
Yeah, there's a few. If we can,
So-
we can
so
just
what I
list
have-
them and vote.
Agers Hall, Ashenspire, Aureus Saltus, Faldair, Skyfire Bay, Sunfire Valley, Sylvan Reaches.
And Belial's Peak.
Oh, and Belial Peaks didn't. So the two active lands that did not submit an audit then was Agers Hall and Belial Peaks.
Yes.
So the other ones are probably defunct. So Agers Hall and Belial Peaks are auto fails because they didn't submit an audit. So score Agers Hall is going to be a fail. Belial Peaks is a fail. And I'm just changing them on the final results page. Okay, so let's move on then. The next one's going to be Bremen's Fortress. We at here. So comments on Bremen's Fortress.
Bremen's Fortress is an excellent.
Yeah, I second the excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent. I would like to state, just so that they can hear, that whoever worked on their flyer did an amazing job. That is a beautiful flyer and they should be really proud of it.
so whoever worked on their flyer might actually be able to be brought forward for some kind of an award for that. So
I would definitely say it was beautiful.
awesome. Okay, so let's hold on a second.
Are you talking about the one that's in their shared drive? Just curious.
Yeah, yeah. It's really well done, well balanced, has all of the relevant information without looking crowded. You know, as a person who's made flyers before, it's really hard to like balance out the information listed versus the, attractability of the flyer. And like, I could see people taking that and keeping it for a long period of time just because it looks really nice, which is good because if your flyer doesn't look really nice, a lot of times people take it and throw it right in the trash. So
Yeah.
Having that element to it helps people, take it home and then maybe they'll actually be interested in coming out later.
Not to mention having a nice picture of 2 actual local people dressed up real nice.
Yeah, I think that's important. Right. Okay, any other discussion on Bremen's Fortress?
I nominate them for an excellent.
Okay, so, let's see, Andy,
Excellent.
Brian,
Excellent.
Christian, you
Excellent.
said, David,
Green-
I
Double
vote
excellent.
Okay, I vote excellent, and then Jordan.
Excellent.
Sweet, okay, so, excellent.
Hi, Sean.
Good job, Bremen's
Sean.
Fortress. All
And
right, so,
I also vote excellent.
oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot the R at the end, my bad. I'll do better, I promise. So let's move on to Clockwork Spires. What discussion do we have about Clockwork Spires?
They're doing well.
I gave them an excellent. I was really happy to see that they have so many dues paid players, especially for a new land. That shows that their monarch is doing a lot to really make people feel supportive of the park, which is hard during the last 6 months. So I was really impressed with that.
I move for an excellent vote on them.
I second that.
Right, so, Andy, you said excellent.
Excellent.
Brian,
Excellent.
Christian,
Excellent.
David,
Excellent.
Jody. Excellent. He's waiting for me to answer. Gross.
And I vote excellent too.
Excellent.
Great. All right. Good job, Clockwork Spires. So Crimsonwood. Discussion about Crimsonwood.
I had reached out to Crimsonwood and didn't get any response. I didn't see a land ledger in their
I
audit.
didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that information, and I'm not going to count not having the bank statements against them because, like as David said, he wasn't sure if they closed their account or not. I put them down as a pass.
I think the comments that I had, and these are kind of soft, are advertising. I didn't see any advertising. And I wasn't sure if they met attendance. My idea for attendance for everybody is as long as they meet Shire levels, I'm okay with attendance because of COVID.
Well, we
Um,
weren't requiring
right.
attendance or
Right.
advertising on this audit.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
that's why I did pass.
But I didn't see the ledger, so I agree with that.
Yeah.
For me, I saw that they filled in the West March Fang, which seeing as they were doing everything remotely, they may just have only kept track of it there. They also did mention that they were doing ads on Facebook and Discord. So I don't think it's completely fair to say they didn't do advertising.
Okay,
They mentioned it in their letter to the monarchy that they have been having a very big presence on Facebook and Discord to try and get new players that way.
I think they're one of the lands that's really emphasized the virtual online and promoted that to maintain their attendance. They've
Yep,
done a really,
well-
they've done a really good job of that.
They're doing
Yeah.
a lot online.
And-
They also have the most stringent COVID restrictions. So I
Yeah.
think they're still every other week.
Yeah, they
Which is
seem to care a
definitely
lot about
affecting their
letters.
numbers, but
Yeah.
you know, it's COVID, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
I think like
And I
Jody
mean-
said, if they meet at least Shire, which they blew that out of the water.
yeah. As a note for that though, like half of our new players have come off of Facebook and Discord. So, it may be hurting their physical attendance, but they may be also getting people that way who will in the future still play.
Good to know. In the past, though, they need to fill out the ledger in the audit package. But then they also need a handwritten perpetual ledger. I don't know that we've required receipts, but we've encouraged receipts just to document their cash flow?
Where in the Capora does it say that they have to have a physical ledger?
It's
don't-
on the audit itself, I think.
And
They're
where on
very-
the Capora does it say that the form has to be filled out itself? Like,
Copies of financial records and ledger for the past 6 months. It doesn't stipulate that that's in the audit package or separate. But in the past, they've done the audit package ledger, and that needs to jive with a perpetual handwritten ledger and receipts if they
it
have
does
them.
not say that in the Capora. Does not say that in the Capora. It says that they have to turn in a financial record. They turned in a financial record. If we want to add a section saying it has to be a physical, I believe that that should be an amendment to the Capora, because otherwise anyone, which most of the PMs were this time, looking at the Capora to see what it is that they need to attach, would have no way of knowing that if it's their first time. If it is required that they have a separate sheet, it should be in the Capora. Otherwise, we are unfairly requiring something 6 months after the person who is having to compile the stuff took office. And that's not fair. People should have the information that they need at the time that they start compiling it and not at the end. Coming back 6 months later and requiring something is just not fair. If it is required, it should be in the Capora. It should be clearly stated.
So in the Capora, it's Article 5, Section 4, 5A. The treasurer ledger may be a physical handwritten ledger or may be a digital ledger as long as the file is provided to the next officer maintaining the treasury. I know in the past, some lands have said they're using the audit form as their ledger.
I mean, I don't see
can't
any
remember
reason that
what-
that's worse than using a PDF file that isn't attached to their audit. The audit submitted, so if anything, it's a more secure form of record keeping as the kingdom keeps a record as well.
David, what was the section that you quoted again?
Article 5, Section 4,
Okay,
5A.
just taking notes.
Yeah. So
Also,
that's just
I would
my
like
thing
to
on
point
that.
out that the form itself does show that you will need to provide your own ledger. So these audit forms are something that every land uses. So if they try to claim that they didn't know, it's already in the
Where in
audit
the
form that they should
Capora
be
does it
working on.
say that they have to use the audit form?
I don't think it does.
Then we can't use anything listed in the audit form as a hard rule that we go off of, because it is not a required document. It is not official. It is something that we give them to help them fill it out.
Right.
If it's
So-
not required in the Capora, it's not required.
So then they would need to have a physical ledger, which I'm not
Or a
seeing.
digital ledger, which
digital.
the audit form can be considered a digital ledger. It is more data retention good, because not only does the local land usually keep a copy of old ledgers that have been submitted with the audit, but the kingdom keeps it. So anyone who went back and tried to fiddle with it, we would be able to bring up past audits and say, hey, why does your past audit that we have for some reason decided to re-audit not match what we had in the past? I mean, why are we requiring a less secure form of documentation, especially when it doesn't specifically require it in the Capora?
So I know that I did not go back to the previous audits that were submitted to make sure that in the audit packages that were submitted this time, the beginning balance matched the end balance of the previous audit. When we've had sequential audits pre-COVID, we
Mhm.
were able to do that.
Yeah. I
And-
mean,
but
it's
you
a more
can
secure
enter
form of
in-
record
You
keeping.
can enter in any numbers in the audit form, but that physical ledger that you have records
If you
of
are
is
entering a
different.
digital ledger, you can do that as well. If I have an Excel file that I'm maintaining as my ledger, which would be a completely accepted form per Capora, I can go in and audit the numbers to make it look like they match.
True.
Okay, but so I want to table this discussion, and that should be a Capora issue, which we should handle
Mhm.
over to Porkins to put into the Capora committee's hands.
Okay, I will just
Second.
state that any lands that have that as an issue, though, I fully. intend to
Wait,
ignore.
hold on, Rose, I just had a second. We need to honor the second because I just made a motion. Who seconded?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
did.
Thank you. Please hold the vote.
Okay,
So all in favor, so can you repeat the motion, Christian?
My
please?
motion was to table this issue for Porkins to take to an audit for into a Capora review of the audit. Because if we don't, I agree that if we don't state that the audit forms have to be used for an audit, then we are out of compliance with the Capora. Now, we have always used these for over 10 years. We do update them. If this ends up becoming a document that we need approved every time we change the form, then we need to do that. But my motion is we table this issue, Porkins takes it over to the Capora committee. And Raven, you seconded.
All in favor? Anyone opposed?
There's no Kapora committee right now.
That's not our issue.
All right, Brian, it's up to you and me to work out if we want to put, or
Okay,
what we want to
so-
put on the all thing.
Okay, so can I see the votes in support of that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and
Sorry,
all
in support of
opposed
what specifically?
of moving this
in
item
support of-
to the corpora. And Brian will
Thank you.
work on that with making a corpora amendment to clarify this as far as audits. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Also,
there's-
Crimson Wood closed their bank account. They no longer have a bank account.
Okay.
They have a cash box.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in favor. Andy, are you in favor of moving that to the corpora?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 5 in favor and Rose not. Okay, so the ayes have it and we will move this discussion to Brian, the Monarch, to follow up on. Okay, so that is gonna be, we were at, where were we at? Crimson Wood. Was
I
there
vote-
any further discussion on Crimson Wood before we hold votes?
I vote for a pass.
Okay, so let's go ahead, Andy? Crimson Wood,
I vote excellent. And also, Rose is reconnecting right now.
do we need to wait for her?
Give me 1 sec.
Amanda should be home soon. She just texted me.
I vote excellent.
Okay, so Andy votes excellent, Brian
I vote pass.
for Crimson Wood. Andy votes excellent on Crimson Wood,
That's correct.
and Brian votes pass. Christian,
Pass.
David,
Excellent.
Jody votes pass. Jordan,
Pass.
so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 passes and 2 excellents.
And
So-
Rose's vote is pending
Rose,
connection.
here we go. So Rose, yep,
Rose voted excellent.
Rose voted excellent. So we have 1, 2, 3 excellents and 1, 2, 3, 4 passes. So Crimson Wood, looks like they get a pass. And so as far as them getting a pass and not an excellent, what do we want to put in the notes?
I
Because
voted
that was
because of the
pretty much
missing ledger.
split. So that was pretty much split. So it was no perpetual ledger.
Yeah. Now, due to that, I would like to put, and I'm going to put this motion so everyone's aware. Anyone who's missing their ledger or their bank statements, I am going to put forward for an audit. That we personally go in and audit their bank account records.
Okay,
That
Let's
might be just looking at their last ledger on the audits and the new one. It might be contacting them and being like, what's going on? So
Okay.
I would like to put them forward to that.
okay, so let's have the secretary document who does not have a perpetual ledger. And then we can make a list and follow up on that. Okay? Rose, are you back?
She's standing here next to me.
Okay. All right, super. So let's go ahead and move on to Misty Vale. What comments do we have on Misty Vale?
I'm concerned because they're missing money. This is not the first time.
I thought the
I
audit
don't-
was late. Wasn't it?
Yeah, well, so if the audit is late, that's an auto fail, isn't it? If it's
They
not
were
submitted
what,
by
a
the
few hours
deadline,
late?
they what?
They
Yeah, I think
were
it
a
was,
few hours late. I think they submitted the following morning.
So did
2:38
that
in
have
the morning.
anything to do with the discrepancy between February 1st at midnight in our discussion that like the midnight between January 31st and February 1st? Or the midnight between February 1st and February 2nd?
Let's see.
It was
I
the
moved
other
to
one.
accept it.
It was on February 2nd at 2:38 in the morning, from what I recall. I'm happy to be wrong on that, though.
That's gonna be a David thing.
Yeah, David.
I am looking at Wednesday, February 2nd at 1:58 a.m. I think I heard somebody say they moved to accept it anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to move to accept it. They put it in the effort.
I'll second that. I mean, if they got it on time or 2 hours late, we were all asleep, so it doesn't really matter when we looked at it or change when we looked at it.
So my comment was, I was kind of torn between an excellent and a pass. I think with our discussion about the ledger and that, I don't know that I would give them an excellent, but they have had more than their share of prime minister turnovers and moving, and the monarch stepped up and tried to kind of manage things and to kind of keep it all together. I think between COVID and all of that, they really almost kind of did a Herculean effort in making sure they did what they could. And I think that they should get credit for that. I mean, I would kind of like to kind of cut them a break. So I don't think originally I had an excellent or pass. I don't think that I would fail them. I think a pass would be reasonable. They really tried.
They caught that financial oops themselves. If memory serves from timing, wasn't that at the end of the last audit period? So they're kind of explaining we're fixing the mistakes from a month before. So if it's they're explaining they're fixing a financial error that they caught from, at this point, it's 7 months ago. It's almost not this audit period that they're explaining the money going missing.
That's a prime minister turnover thing.
Mhm.
And between, I think it was what, Hera and then Brandy, and then Brandy moved and was trying to be PM remotely. And then Dargon stepped up to kind of keep it all together. And now Silent Judge is the PM.
Right. However, this missing money went missing before all of that.
Yeah, and they didn't have their ledger attached to it. So that brings up an issue to me. I have them on my audit that they need a hard audit. Us to actually look at any ledgers that they have, any accounts that they have, and their previous audits. See if we can track that down. Because this isn't the first time they've had money go missing.
Yeah. Okay, and so who was the other one, Christian, that you said for the ledger and the audit? That we're keeping the list of?
Crimson Wood.
Crimsonwood, so Crimsonwood
Yeah,
and Misty
and
Vale. So
I've
far?
got my own list here, so I'm going
Okay.
to maybe ask David to help me on this.
Okay,
Is that okay, David?
Okay. I'll
okay,
probably be slow at helping.
I'll probably just put us in a chat and we can discuss.
all right.
Yeah.
So any further discussion on Misty Vale? Let's see what else I have. That's all that I have. Anybody else have anything to discuss about Misty Vale before we vote? Crickets. Okay, Andy. Your vote for Misty Vale?
Sorry, I was muted. Pass, I think.
Okay. Brian,
Fail.
Christian,
Fail.
David,
Pass.
I'll vote pass. Jordan?
Pass.
Okay, so we have, let's see.
Rose.
Rose.
Rose. Rose voted pass. Okay, so Andy, you voted fail or pass?
Andy, but
I'm sorry, you cut out.
Andy voted pass.
Pass. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pass and 2 fails. So Misty Vale passes. So they were submitted late. But we kind of gave them credit.
I would like to, as Azus is here, put up an proposed amendment to change the time the audits are from midnight to 11:59. And
That's
it isn't going to make much of a difference, but
That's
much
going to be
more
a
clear when we-
corpora. That's a corpora thing that we need to clarify.
I have it on my list to do. Thank you.
All right, so Misty Vale gets a pass. We gave them credit anyway for their late submission, but then there were issues about their ledger and money that we're going to follow up on. Okay. And then next is going to be Namir's Sanctum. What comments do we have about Namir's Sanctum?
I don't know if I missed it, but it looks in here like they don't have any crown qualifications, and then I don't see a bank statement in here. Am I missing it anywhere?
They don't have a bank.
Shires are not required to hold crown calls.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, good to
Right.
know.
I know that always trips me up too. So it's like, oh, okay, so that doesn't count. And then advertising, I have that they did had something really good for advertising. And the other thing is they had a perpetual ledger with receipts.
That was chef
Which is-
kiss.
Yeah, which is kind of an example of what we've looked for in the past. Does anyone else have any other comments?
I'd like to comment that they're working really hard on online meetings, and those are really difficult to do, but they've had consistent of the people in their work. So, I can praise their mom.
Yeah, there's kind of, I think, 2 members right now for Namir Sanctum. So considering that, they've done a really good job. Did anyone else have any?
They're on Discord.
Did anyone else have any comments about Namir Sanctum?
I moved to vote.
Okay, so Amanda, I'm sorry, Andy, you cut out. Was that excellent?
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay, Brian,
What?
I didn't hear you, sorry.
Excellent. Yeah.
Christian,
Excellent.
David,
Excellent.
I'll vote excellent. Jordan?
Excellent.
Okay, so Namir Sanctum gets,
I
Rose.
also vote excellent.
sorry, you know what? I know what it is. It's because, hold on. It's because everything's written in a word. Okay, so Rose, you vote excellent. So Namir Sanctum gets an excellent. Sorry, I suck tonight. Okay, any comments for Namir Sanctum? Okay, let's move on to Shargata. Comments do we have
I have
for
a question
Shargata?
for you before that.
I'm sorry, go
Amanda
ahead.
said that she was, no, for Shargiata, Amanda said she was gonna be on soon. Do you wanna wait on this because like 3 of our members are Shargiata? And if we let Amanda get back, then she can vote independently.
Yeah,
Andy, would you like to make the motion to put that to the bottom of the list?
Fair enough. I motion to put Shargiata at the bottom of the.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, that's good. It's transparent. All right, so let's move on then to
Thanks, Andy.
7 Sleeping Dragons. Any comments on SSD?
I move to vote.
So did they have crown quals? They're a barony.
I have a note.
That's
It wasn't
actually my
held
only
because of
comment on.
COVID.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I have a note that it wasn't held because of COVID.
Okay, all right.
I mean, considering COVID last year, I don't know if we can ding anyone for not holding proper quals.
Yeah, also, we didn't say that we required it when we had our last meeting, so I didn't require it at all. I mean,
Okay.
if they held it full, but it's not required. Amanda, welcome.
Hello. Huh?
So what
Okay.
I have for SSD is, it looks like I had a question if they have a new website. They have photos and screenshots and handwritten attendance sheets. They also had a banner.
Yeah, the
Okay.
banner's cool and new.
Yeah, I wanted to specifically point out the banner, which not only was well made, but it had the pertinent information of free to play. It looked really good. And I also liked that they did some of their attendance with pictures. I thought that that was really imaginative.
Do they need a bank statement in here somewhere?
I don't know that they have a bank statement.
When I asked David, I heard a no, they do not have a bank account.
That would make that easy. Then they don't need.
A bank account's not required,
No.
correct? Okay.
Right.
A bank account is never required, just if you have one, you have to submit statements so that people know you're not doing finicky things.
Okay, so Amanda, so now that Amanda is here, Amanda is going to take her place as a voting member, Andy?
Makes sense. I'll keep watching.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussion on SSD? So let's go ahead and have a vote. Amanda,
Yes.
what is your vote on SSD?
Oh, I am going to vote. Hold on, let me pull up my notes here. I'm sorry, I'm still getting everything up.
Absolutely.
Here is. to the BOD minutes. Close, but not quite. All right. Seven sleeping dragons, that's who we're looking at, right?
Yes,
Sorry, I'm still looking for the main, there's the audit worksheet. I'm gonna vote that they pass.
and then Brian,
Excellent.
Christian,
Excellent.
David,
Excellent.
Jordan,
Excellent.
Rose.
Excellent.
Great. So that means SSD gets an excellent. So I'm going to make a comment. Great banner.
Yeah, whoever made that banner should probably go up for some kind of award. 'cause
Yep, I've
it is,
got a note. And the Monarch could probably make note of that as well, since mid-range's coming up next weekend. Yay. Okay, moving on. Thor's Refuge. Comments?
I had concerns. Their bank statements are missing, their ledger records are missing. They had a lot of things crossed out, if I remember correctly, on their ledger in the audit.
My major comment for this one is they did not list a number of votes that their officers got, which I do see that they had a lot of problems that they had to overcome. But that seems like that would be something, that they should have been able to at least ask the members what they'd voted if they lost the original record, or, been able to give some kind of number for.
Wait, I'm trying, give me a second. I think I had something from their people. So they were expecting to miss some things, but they were trying their best. So they lost a bunch of records in the move.
Yeah, I see that they self-demoted, so, that must have been absolutely devastating for their monarchy to decide to do. So I'm just really sad that they had to do that, and I'm sure that they worked really hard on what they did submit.
They self-demoted after the audit.
It looks like they lost their ledger as well.
Stated on the audit that they were self-demoting, so.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just saying that they lost their perpetual ledger in their move. So
Any other comments?
I am going to put them on my audit list to audit the records.
Oh, their audit letter said the previous monarch and prime minister had the paper ledger and attendance sheets which were thrown away without their consent, which that's losing the ledger in that. I'm sure there's some more story behind that, but that's a holy moly.
Yeah. I did write a prime minister how-to that includes setting up a Google account so that you can keep all of your records digital there. So I'm going to review that with their land, their monarch, and try to see if we can get them set up so that things can't get thrown away like that again.
That sounds really smart. And a good approach.
Any other discussion? Okay, so we'll go ahead and hold a vote. Amanda,
I'm going to vote Dale, given in light of what's currently missing.
Brian?
Fail. Did that come through? Fail.
Are you there, Brian?
Yeah, fail.
Christian,
Fail.
David,
Fail.
I vote fail. Jordan,
Fail.
Rose, Rose,
Fail.
okay. And then comments, I'm
Okay.
just gonna put oh gosh, I'm just not gonna put anything. But we're gonna follow up with Prime Minister, Treasurer, follow up on financials, correct?
That's what I put down. They're on my list.
Okay, so Valley of the Fallen is next. What comments do we have about Valley of the Fallen? I loved the advertising, but I think one of the things that I really like the most is the letter from the monarch, because it really gives me flavor and just kind of like what's been going on and what's the atmosphere and the ambiance of the park. And so I really like to have that letter. So, I mean, that's not an audit requirement per se, but that was my comment.
So I was really impressed with.
I could not catch any of that.
I'm not sure I heard that either. Rose, can you repeat what you said, please?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Switched to Andy's more efficient laptop. So the thing I said was I was really impressed with their flyer, and I could tell from their audit. Sorry.
I don't hear anything if you're talking.
Did you guys hear anything I said?
Not really.
I'm gonna switch rooms because
That's
I think
okay.
it might
That's
be
like,
where
this
I'm
is like
sitting.
me last month. Christian had to save me last month because my internet crapped out. So
Yeah,
it's all
well,
good.
I'm on a hotel internet,
Oh,
so it's not super great because we're in Arizona right now. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
This room has better internet. So I just said that I really liked their flyer. It was very well made, and I could tell from the way that their audit was put together that their PM really put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. Anybody else have comments for them?
Love all the joint days they're doing with Brennan's Fortress.
Yeah, I think
think more
SoCal-
parks need to do that.
I think SoCal, well, was it Aria Saltus, Namir Sanctum, and Belial Peaks did like a tri-lands thing in Northern California, but I think like through COVID, SoCal's really been strong. And I agree totally. And they've come out of it along with Clockwork Spires, that they're really strong and cohesive and have really been doing a good job. Totally agree. So does anybody else have any comments on Valley of the Fallen? Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. We'll have a vote then. Amanda, your vote on Valley of the Fallen,
I'm gonna vote excellent.
and Brian,
Excellent.
Christian,
Excellent.
David,
Excellent.
I vote excellent. Jordan,
Excellent.
Rose?
Excellent.
All right, so Valley of the Fallen, excellent. Does anyone have anything that they want to put as a comment for them?
Great work. Keep it up.
Great work.
Whoever made the flyer should go up for an award because it was well done.
Okay, Valley of the Fallen. Wait, all right. Wave Haven is next. What comments do we have about Wave Haven?
Well, Fix sends greetings.
I know.
I have that they had a lot of issues with their bank that they had to work out, which sucks because banks can be very difficult to work with. But through that, they did a good job of keeping their financials in line, which I think says a lot about their prime minister, and he or they or she should feel very proud about that. And I really appreciate the effort, according to their letter, that they put in following up with the bank. But I also had that they didn't list how many votes they got for officers.
Right.
Yeah, and they are a
That's what I see in my
barony,
notes as
so,
well.
yep, barony quals are a thing, and those are a thing.
I mean, we weren't counting,
It's
but the officer thing can be to review that.
I'm sorry, you cut out like a third of the way through.
Sorry, I was saying that's important because if like a member of the land felt the election was handled badly or whatever, and tried to bring it to West March's issue, one of the things that is how many votes did they get so that we could try to contact the voting eligible people to like verify it. If it were brought to us, like if somebody was like, oh, the PM just made up votes or something. So I get that they did list who was officers, but I feel like the vote part is kind of important. Did I cut out that time?
No.
No,
Perkins, David, is that something you guys want to go investigate? I think that's over in your guys' court.
I think I can trust them.
I'm not necessarily saying like as an investigative thing. I'm sure that the numbers or like that the officers they elected were elected. I'm just saying it is a part that is listed omitted.
and that was the reason that I was kind of on the fence between a pass and a fail. I think I would give them a pass. I know that elections in Crown Qualls for a barony are required. Advertising, we're not really looking at strongly. Meeting attendance, we're not really looking at strongly. They did have a ledger. So I agree with the elections in that. I kind of gave them a little extra credit for the audit letter.
Did they have any crown qualifications?
They did not, and they're not a shire, so I believe for a barony, quals are required.
We also, sorry. We also didn't state in our thing telling people
Didn't state what?
in our thing to lands of what they had to turn in. Has been previously said, we did not require.
We almost got it there. Did not require, not require what?
Quals to have been taken place. We've said that for several other lands.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The
Yeah.
other
Okay.
thing I have a
This is
note
true.
here
Yeah.
for Wave Haven is the thing I liked, another thing I liked was their park day remote sign-in included COVID, a waiver, transfer from another park, you know, sex offender, all of those things. And I've heard that in other groups and other discussions as far as the waivers, and their online sign-in was very comprehensive. And I know that's not specifically an audit thing, but as far as attendance goes and remote sign-ins, I thought that was a plus.
Yeah, I actually noticed that too, and I'm hoping to visit them. So I'm really curious to see if I can see that process in action
Mm.
rather just through screenshots, because that was yeah, that was pretty nifty.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any discussion on Wave Haven?
I move that we vote.
All right, so let's go ahead and vote. Amanda,
A second,
oh, sorry, second.
I'm gonna vote that they pass.
Okay, and then Brian,
Down for a fail.
Christian,
Excellent. They had everything we required this round.
David,
a pass.
Jordan,
Pass.
Rose.
Pass.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes. And a fail and an excellent. So the majority votes pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes. So Wave Haven gets a pass. Are there comments that you would like to add on this grade score?
Does anyone feel that they need a bank audit because of their bank issues? That's my only concern. I will add them to my list if so.
I'm gonna put that on the notes.
Okay. I'm not going to
And-
add them. No one else feels that it's needed. So I felt that they included everything that was required for this audit.
So no note about bank audit?
No, that was a question to the BOD if anyone thought that they needed a bank audit because of their bank issues.
I do not.
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay, then there you go.
okay, so then let's move on to Wyvern Spur. What discussion do we have about Wyvern Spur?
They put a lot of effort into their audit, and whoever their PM is should probably get an award for the graphics because they're pretty impressive.
That was Endel, and yes, he is an awesome person.
Yeah,
I
it looks like.
also saw, like, sorry, you're first.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, no, this was pretty impressive. It looked like the entire thing was done mobile, which that's a feat.
Do they have a ledger?
My note says yes, they did.
Yeah, my note says that they did.
And they also, the other thing that I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
All right, I just wanted to note that they had asked a question about how to upload waivers to the org. And for their PM, who I'm sure will be watching this, they actually function as they felt like it was a confidentiality issue. So you can't, unfortunately, by design, because they had asked if there was any way.
I think I've lost track of my conversations, but I think I've spoken to Endel about that one already. So.
I didn't
Already
know
answered?
if they had gotten an answer, but I had the same question for SG because that seemed like it would be an excellent way to keep track of waivers and make them accessible, you know. But unfortunately, for some reason, they think having the information on a piece of paper instead of just in the orc is a confidentiality issue.
It's easier to hack into the orc than it is to hack into a box containing papers in somebody's garage.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
all the information that's listed on the waiver is usually on the orc anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a comment about their Crown Qualls results were lost.
Yeah, that sounded unfortunate.
What happened with that?
I think there was a note in there.
I did not follow up
audit.
with him about that one.
They said they had it until New Year's. They might have cleaned the house and tossed it.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't required it for other parks, so I would personally say, well, I guess that's a learning issue. Better do better for your next audit period so that when it is required.
Well, it's required for a barony. I think where I'm kind of settling out with this is the first audit in what, a year and a half? And I think with all of the chaos of the last year and a half or 2 years, we're just kind of getting back to normal. I think that this is a really good heartbeat on where West March is. But I think that I'm kind of looking at things with like a grain of salt. That's not really quite the right term, but so it's just something that I had on the note that for next time, I wouldn't give them an excellent because they've lost their crown quals, but I don't know that I would fail them.
I think holding crown quals with their little notice, seeing as most parks plan it several months in advance at all, was really
Yep.
impressive.
Yep.
Especially during COVID, and that not having run it for 2 years, I would expect problems to happen for the parks that are doing it. I mean, it's likely none of the officers that are at the park have any experience running crown quals anymore. So
Agreed. Is there any further discussion on Wyvern Spur? Okay, so let's go ahead, and if it's okay, we'll hold a vote. Amanda,
I'm going to, do we need somebody to second that before I continue?
I second.
second,
Okay, great. I'm gonna vote they pass.
hey, Brian,
Excellent.
what?
Excellent.
Christian,
Excellent.
David,
Abstain.
hold on. It won't let me do it. I vote pass. Jordan,
Pass.
and Rose.
excellent.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 passes. And we have 1, 2, 3 excellence. So we're tied between excellent and pass.
I believe the president has the ability to vote the final
Oh,
vote.
that's right. And I just read that about like almost 2 hours ago, didn't I?
Yes.
Well,
So,
darn
Lady
it.
President?
Oh, gosh, the pressure is on. Give me a minute.
You don't want to break my heart, do you?
I would never break your heart. Did they have a ledger?
I did see one, yes.
Then I'm gonna vote, I'm gonna vote excellent for them. And we'll give them a break with the Crown Qual's results. If they have a ledger, that's important with their financials. So we'll give them an excellent. With a note that they'll need Crown Quals. Okay. Okay, Quixotic Valley, their contract is pending, so they're not actually active, but I did put them on the list. Let's go back to Shargata.
Yep.
What comments did we have on Shargata?
I have a concern because they're using someone's personal bank account to hold the land funds, and the bank statements we got don't show actually the name of the account or any information, even what bank it is being held in. So that doesn't constitute an actual bank statement.
It is a credit union. It is literally what the bank gave us with the personal information of the account holder redacted. And it's not the BOD's job to decide how we hold a bank account. We're only supposed to submit records. And
It doesn't show that it's actually the land money under the law. That's considered a personal bank account. It is his personal money.
Is our treasurer's bank account. We have submitted it for going on 8 years that way. And nothing in the corpora says that we cannot have a member of our land hold our funds for us if our land wants to.
David, can you look on the past audits to see what they had turned in for a past audit in the bank statement section?
Well, I know that's what they've turned in. I've seen that many a time.
Okay, is there any previous comments from the BOD regarding it, regarding concerns? One of the reasons I'm
I'm sure
concerned is
we've
that
mentioned it. I'm sure we've talked about it at some point. I know we've gone back and forth on ledger requirements with Shargata a few times. But yeah, we've been accepting this as their bank statements for quite some time with the letter saying we've got it set up this way.
okay, is there any protection for the land's money in case anything happens? Because if it's under a person's name, it's connected to them. If they owe the state or the federal government money, then that money could be lost to a government agency or to the bank.
The same protections that are if they had the cash box. If they take the money and run, we can sue them for it.
Okay.
That is the protection that it would have in their bank account. They are officially a treasurer, so we have an agreement with them for it.
Is that agreement in writing as a notarized contract?
It's not notarized, but it's not required to be, and that's how our land wants to have it done. If
Okay.
our land decides to do different, we'll do. If the BOD wanted, we could put into our contract voting on it each audit period and submitting that. I'd be willing to do that just to make the headache of everybody asking go away.
Real quick,
but it's not officially required.
If they're a treasurer, that means you have a full BOD and that you're able to provide the records of that elected BOD. Is that correct?
No, we just have a person who we have made a treasurer because our prime ministers were not comfortable holding on to the amount of money that it was. They worried about what would happen if they lost it. And so we, as a group, decided, okay, we'll do a bank account. When we tried to contact the bank to do it, they wanted a business number. They wouldn't give us any protections for not charging fees. They did not seem to want to work with us at all. So this was the way of getting it in the bank without it having a bunch of fees charged to it. And we've been doing it for 8 years. But like I say, if you guys wanted, we could add into their, their agreement, voting on it every 6 months to ensure that you guys know the land is in agreement. We'd be willing to do that, as it is a little bit of an odd thing. Or, we'd be willing to work with you guys, but our prime ministers don't feel comfortable with the amount of cash that is in the bank being just in a lockbox that could be lost, stolen, whatever. We keep $200 on hand for expenses. That's usually more than enough. If we got below 150, we're supposed to bring money out of the cash box. We haven't done that in years. We're pretty good at usually making up the amount of funds we spend so that the cash box stays pretty standard. If it goes above 250, then we're supposed to deposit the excess amount into the bank. Also haven't done that in years because it hasn't gone that high.
Is that written down somewhere for the members of your park in order to review and know, just in case that they want to become prime minister, and that they have the option to change that? Or was there a vote held within your land that states all that information to agree to that?
There was a vote, and before COVID, we were doing it consistently. During COVID, we haven't consistently had a vote because honestly, nothing was really changing. We paid dues directly to the kingdom, so we didn't even take in any personal money or give it out.
But is this information available to your general land population?
Yes.
Where is it available?
It's available with our land paperwork.
Where is that posted so that it's available to your general populace of your land?
It's not specifically posted anywhere.
Okay,
It's
so
within our land paperwork though.
Okay, so new members wouldn't be aware of this if they joined now and they became voting eligible, including being able to run for office. They may not be aware of this.
They may not be.
Okay, is there something that you can do to maybe help make the populace more aware of this, so that in case they want to run for office, they're aware of it if they become monarch or prime minister?
Yeah, like I said, if you wanted, we could make it part of our thing and vote on it every 6 months.
Is this something that we would want to follow up on with the prime minister and treasurer?
I just think that it needs to be available to the monarch, so I can follow up with the David, do you want to follow up with me?
Sure.
Okay, so
No, for the
I'll
most
be in
part, I
contact with the
think, you know,
monarchy.
Because I'm not sure
For the-
that as far as the audit goes, I think we
I
need
mean,
to follow,
quite frankly,
I think we
sorry.
need to follow up on it, but for the audit,
Yeah.
how much of this do we really need to continue it?
Okay, I'm willing to drop it now because I said I would follow up with that.
Yeah, and for the most part, it seems to be
Yeah.
working for them. And I just did a quick glance,
I-
and their balance hasn't changed since 2019.
Yeah, I'm just
Got it.
worried about, because there's been concerns about
Yeah.
whether or not new prime ministers would know how to do audits and things. I don't know if their land new members would be aware of this, even someone that's been there for a year, if they've been doing this for 5 years.
Can I ask what part of the corpora the BOD caring about this falls under?
Well, it falls under the law of who actually is holding the money and how it's being managed. It's a concern. So if you're making up new rules, then
Where in the corpora does it state that the BOD, what?
I think it's
I
gonna fall
mean-
under the prime minister responsibilities.
Mhm.
Give me a second here. There's something about that or the BOD can audit lands as needed. Let me find it.
Okay.
So the prime minister shall work with local prime ministers to ensure local chapters records are accurately maintained.
I mean, we're maintaining the records. We submit them every 6 months.
So there's that, and then
Real
Fine.
quick, Jordan just brought up in the chat that he may have to leave shortly.
okay. So let's go ahead and put this for follow-up. The kingdom may audit any sponsored chapter at any time to ensure the smooth operation. I think it's going to fall under that. The Kingdom Board of Directors shall conduct regular audits of all lands. It's going to fall under that. So let's do two things. Let's decide what we're going to do with this, and then let's move on to voting on Shargada's audit, so that because we need Jordan for that. And then if he needs to leave, Andy can come back after we finish the audits. Is that okay with everybody?
I make the motion to table this issue until after David and I are able to follow up with them.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, all in favor? Okay, so that being considered, let's go ahead and move on with voting on, is there any other discussion about Shargada's audit? Okay, let's go ahead. Amanda,
For Siergeta, I'm
Yes.
gonna vote pass.
Brian,
Excellent.
Christian,
Pass.
David,
Excellent.
I vote pass. Jordan,
Excellent.
Rose.
Excellent.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 excellence and 3 passes. Shargada gets an excellent. Any comments for Shargada? Okay, so that is it for the audits. What I have is Agers Hall is a fail, no audit received. Belial Peaks is a fail, no audit received. Bremen's Fortress, excellent. Clockwork Spires, excellent. Crimson Wood pass, no perpetual ledger. Misty Vale pass, submitted late, which we gave them credit anyway, and there were questions about the ledger and money. Namir Sanctum, excellent. Shargada, excellent. SSD, excellent. Great Banner. Thor's Refuge, fail. Valley of the Fallen, excellent. Great work, keep it up. Wavehaven, pass. Wyvern Spur, excellent. Need crown quals for next audit. And then Quixotic Valley didn't need to submit an audit because their contract is pending. So we need to post these results basically by the end of February. So they need to be posted online in Facebook so everybody can see them. And they need to be posted in the CA AmpGuard. So Rose, you should be able to make a forum thread now for the audit results and post that in CA AmpGuard as well. If you need help with that, let me know. And as long as it's posted by 28th of February, well, I guess it's actually probably like the 2nd of March, then these will go in, okay? So it's been 2 hours. I need to go take a bathroom break.
I need one cup of
If
tea.
we want to take a break before we move on with the rest of the meeting, is that okay with you? A 3 to 5 minute break?
Make a motion for a 5-minute break.
5 minute break. Okay, we'll be back. Good job, you guys. These are grueling.
The hard part is over for the next
Yes.
6 months.
It's all
Now I know for next time what to expect. I
downhill.
apologize about having to take off early.
It's
No,
okay.
that's-
no,
Yeah.
you stuck in there, Jordan. Thank you.
It's really
Thanks.
just
Have a good
this
night.
first meeting.
Thank you guys. It was
Yeah.
nice meeting you all. I
Right?
look forward to
Okay.
all the future stuff.
Absolutely. It'll be a good year.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks for volunteering. Good job. Hey, I'm back. What's that?
Just a quick heads up, I've only got like 20 more minutes. Ben and I are on day shift nowadays, so I have to be up at 5 a.m. Hey, Jody.
Okay, so
Jody, you're on mute.
Yeah, I am, aren't I? Sorry. So let's go
I've
ahead
only-
and get started. Looks like everybody's back.
Amanda, are you back?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, great. So the next item is the Quixotic Valley contract. David, where are we at with that? Now that we have a full board, we can maybe actually get the contract going and circulated.
Exactly. So folks who weren't around last time, Quixotic Valley, we need to sign a contract. I've got a PDF set up. I forget exactly how to do it, how I got it. Basically, we set up an email chain. You digitally sign it, forward it to the next person. We all sign it digitally that way. Send it to Quixotic Valley. They can sign it digitally. I have played in the past using DocuSign, I think it was, which is a pain in the neck to get set up. And some people are not technologically as adept, had problems with it. So,
Well, and also, don't you have to have a PDF or a Adobe account that you can DocuSign? Not everybody has that.
No, I forget exactly how that one worked. I just remember it was glitchy, and that was also many years ago. So, depending on what folks here agree to, I mean, we can do it either way. But I think just forwarding a PDF and having the basic digital signature is going to be easiest.
I would vote that if we can circulate it electronically and get as many signatures as possible on it that way. And then for those of us who can't do that, we can snail mail it. And as long as it ends up in the West March post office box and, you know, we'll review it and scan it and send
Who
it
has
out.
who has the ability to digitally scan? Or digitally sign? I do through Adobe PDF.
I think I can if my Adobe PDF doesn't kick me out into, I need to sign a new subscription. Pretty sure I can.
I
If that's
also have it as well.
okay. Jody, I can print it out and run it to you to sign physically if needed.
Okay, that's fine. I can meet you at Agers Hall or whatever. I mean, we'll make it work. I think
Yeah.
that the important part is gonna be the people in SoCal that need to sign it now.
Yeah. How long do we have? What's our time limit right now? I think it's close.
Oh, there is a time limit, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a time
Um,
limit, and I don't know how often we need it.
Hold on, it's like, I wanna say it's like 30 days.
Yeah, we probably should change that with the.
Okay, so the sponsored must meet the following terms, sign this agreement and send it by registered mail to the receipt by West March within 1 year of the sponsored chapter's formation as an amped guard group. So we need that date. And then we have a year.
So since Rose and Jordan are all both at Shargiata, we could print it out and then start it down here with actual signatures and then send it up to you guys if you would prefer that.
You know what? I think that's actually a great idea. Is there any reason we can't do that, David?
I don't
Are
see
the
why
rest of
not.
us gonna be at mid-range?
I don't, one of our members might be a mid-range, but I don't think either Jordan or Rose are.
Well, I
Can you
just mean
print it
like
out and have
David,
you
Jody,
guys all
me.
sign it by mid-rain and get it to mid-rain? And then we'll take it from there?
We can probably accomplish that. And I mean, even if we can't, we can mail it.
Can
Okay.
you scan it?
Yeah, we could scan it, no problem.
Yeah, just scan it and we can PDF it that way.
Sure, we'll get it signed and then we'll scan it to you guys. I don't need to sign it, right?
No, I think not.
Cool, but since I'm probably the most technological, I'll get it signed by them.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Andy. Okay, so for the Quixotic Valley contract, then somebody needs to make a motion. What's gonna happen?
I make a motion to table this issue until the next meeting when everyone can sign it. When everyone has signed it, excuse me.
But Andy's gonna get it signed.
Whatever it entails to get it signed, we shall approach this issue at the next meeting.
I second that.
All in favor?
I,
All right, so that's gonna be in
Aye.
process and tabled to the next meeting. And then Brian, are you gonna reach out to their monarch and let them know what's going on so that they know we're working on it, please?
Sure, I'll tell them we still have no news.
But let them know that we're working on it and that it's in process, so they don't think that we're just lollygagging around.
Yeah, I'll let them know. Again, we're working on it.
Okay, cool. The next item, thank you, is a platform for future meetings. Kaya, you were gonna make a report as far as Discord or other options.
Okay, so we had originally the option that we were looking into was Facebook so that we could put it out to people that don't have Facebook accounts so that they can still watch the meetings and that they can go back and watch the meetings on YouTube. So YouTube, we can live stream and we can upload videos, but there needs to be a separate method in which we all meet together. So it's two programs. One is the putting out in the world and the other part is meeting. So the meeting part, if we, there's a couple of options that we can use. Skype is one where we can do Skype meetings. I don't think that Discord has a plug directly into YouTube. Not that I found. What I can do is if some people want to try with me, I have my own Google or I have my own YouTube account as a creator. And we can try it on my personal one to see if maybe the Discord, I could get that to work technologically work, or we can try Skype as well. Skype would require everyone to download it, but everyone's basically, I think, downloaded Zoom at this point. But Zoom costs money, and we're looking for a free route.
I usually do my phone and,
I'm sorry, you're breaking out.
robot again, sorry about that.
I usually do stuff on my phone. The last time I tried to use Skype on my phone was several years ago. Have they improved to where it works on phone well, or is it still like?
I don't know. I'm kind of just going if I can get a buddy so that we can try to maybe troubleshoot the Discord, because that would be my first choice. Skype would be a second choice. After that, we can see where that leads us. Maybe I didn't see that there was a way to put Facebook Live into YouTube, and that's partially because Google and Facebook are directly competitors and Google owns YouTube. So a lot of their technology is not compatible.
So I
Yeah,
have my
sounds
own
about
Zoom account
Right.
and that I pay for, that I use
Mhm.
for this and work. I'm totally okay doing it the same way until we get something else figured out that you think will work better. The only issue is, last time my Zoom cut out, so you had to bail me out, but if it works, I can continue to do this until we work out something that you think is better.
This is completely up to you, but if you're fine with us using the personal account, I'm awesome with that. There's also, I can work with you to see if we can get it to upload to the West March YouTube, and we could create a West March creator account. Because I think that would also be handy for the regent to be able to upload videos of, like, if they took a video at oh my god, I'm getting brain dead. The Dragon Masters or any classes that are taught online, that could be a great resource for Westmark to utilize. And I can
Or the
work. Yeah, we
the
can work
knighting
together
video,
to try to get
yeah.
on YouTube. This specifically on YouTube for the Westmarch account.
Theoretically, West March has a YouTube that we're not really using.
Yeah.
So
We do have it.
Would be good use for it.
So kind of what I hear
I think
you
it's a great idea.
saying is we could continue to use this, but then we need to work on being able to find some kind of a platform that we could post into the West March YouTube site.
You can live stream this right now to YouTube via this being the meeting place, and then YouTube being the spreading place.
So we need to get
sounds
the
good.
West March YouTube up so that if I do my Zoom, I can link it to the YouTube
Yeah.
site. Okay.
So I can work with you on that.
Okay.
We probably need David or Porkins to help us connect it directly with the West March, but I know Jody technology sometimes gets us.
No, I'm like, no.
Working a Westmark Zoom is something we should consider because they say
I didn't get any of that.
I didn't hear it either.
But
Rose,
Can you hear me
maybe,
now?
Can you repeat it?
all right, so what Rose was saying was, we should probably look into having a longer term solution that is actually controlled and owned by the kingdom, just as a matter of fact.
Long term, yes, and that's part of why we started doing this. Yeah, short term, we're just using Jody's accounts, and long term, hopefully, well, Skype feeding into kingdom owned YouTube sounds like a great, if we can get it to work.
So do we want to continue this discussion tonight, or do we want to table it perhaps and continue it
table it?
I
next
think
month?
you can. Oh, I was going to say, I think you can feed like various different things into an OBS program and then feed that into YouTube. Just as I know that works.
Yeah, actually, OBS is a great suggestion. But yeah, I think it might be worth tabling this until Kaya has a chance to look at the different methods of connection and how to get it hooked up.
Okay. I make the motion to table this issue till the next meeting, after which I can get sit down with Jody and David to test the YouTube if Jody is comfortable with letting us continue to use her Zoom.
Absolutely. Second. All in favor? Great. Okay, so that will be tabled, and then Christian, you and David and I can get together and work on that before the next meeting. The next item was to discuss to create a group forum somewhere other than Messenger. And David, you were going to report on that.
Right, so I asked Halaver about setting something up on Discord. Which he says he's not the most familiar with Discord and some of those groups. We do have something on Discord. It's under the video chats.
Yes.
There is a chat thing like text chat we can chat in. And then Sir Monkey posted under mine, so we need to fix it so that we don't have non-BOD members posting in it. So those of you who weren't here last meeting, the idea is to get a publicly viewable but not publicly commentable thread, because sometimes some of the stuff we're doing in our Facebook chat is starting to push the line of what should be in there. So we should move some of that to a publicly viewable place. I think for some things like sharing our email addresses, we still need the private chat. We don't necessarily want to make all of that public to the world. The other option was a Facebook BOD only group, and I've got something vaguely outlined as a asset owned by the West March business accounts with, who are they called now? Whatever Facebook renamed themselves to. Which may or may not be easier, but not everyone.
Meta.
Meta,
Yeah.
you're right. But so yeah, it's owned by the West March's business Meta account. But not everyone's on Facebook, so that's not necessarily the best option. Not everyone's on Discord, so that's not the best option. So there's a couple of trials that are in the works. We need to like play with them and figure out what's going to work best for us.
Who doesn't have Discord?
I didn't until I don't know when I turned it on.
Because Discord, I think, is one of the things that we can use actually.
I
For
didn't
our
have a
meetings.
Discord until our monarchy decided to start advertising. I know of at least 4 people in my park who don't use it though. I'm not saying that that's really against, but it is a fact that some
So it sounds
Anyhow.
like we're looking into Discord and Facebook. Not everybody uses Facebook. Not everybody uses Discord. David, remind me, Halaver. So the other thing that I did notice about Discord, because I was kind of looking into that, is there's not a ability to record. And if you post the link for the video chat meeting, people can join. And I believe you can make it so that they can't contribute, but there's no way to record the meetings. And what we've traditionally done, if I remember right, with the BOD meetings is we record them. Because I remember a long time ago in a land far, far away when I was secretary, I would listen to the recordings to record and document the meeting minutes. And so I think it's not required, but it's not a bad idea to be able to have some kind of a format that we can record the meetings in case something gets lost.
Right.
And that was a drawback with Discord, because when I was doing my interview with Sir Uric, I had to use Zoom because I could record it. I couldn't use Discord where it was maybe accessible to more people, but I wasn't able to record it. So I don't know how important that is, but that was one thing with Discord.
Well, if you use a software like OBS, you can stream to multiple platforms at once. So you could, in theory, meet on Discord, but stream to YouTube and then stream to Facebook and then simultaneously download the video to the computer and upload it to Facebook if it doesn't automatically save to Facebook when you stream it to Facebook. I think there are some ways to do it. It's just you're gonna have to look into it a little bit more first.
So I'm gonna have to leave that to somebody else because I have no idea what OBS is, and that's above my radar. I'm not that tech equipped. Would you like to look
Do
into
we
that,
wanna-
Amanda?
Sure. Actually, it'd be a good thing to probably test out with Kaya and just putting it on Discord.
Yeah, I mean, I can look into it, also with Hal, because I don't know, a lot of the online in our kingdom, we've had lands have been doing their sign-ins, even ourselves. We have a sign-in for the kingdom there that is digital, and we honor those sign-ins. That is available to everyone. I feel like if we put it in two places that you can see our chat on the Discord is a great idea. And then if we can manage to plug that Discord into the YouTube, we're kind of killing two birds with one stone, where people have two methods then in which to view our meetings, to view our conversations, and also it gets more people into that resource of being able to sign in. Because I right now encourage everyone in this meeting to go sign in on the Discord and get a credit for being here right now. Because we can by our kingdom standards.
Fair.
What part would it in as I'm just curious because I know the org requires you to put a part in, or does it allow you to sign in as a kingdom now?
It allows
I'm just
kingdom sign-ins, I believe. David?
I've got to put the person's part. So under the kingdom, I create an event called virtual sign-in, and then I put the credits in there. So your credit should be listed under a kingdom level event. In order to enter a person's credits, I have to know their land.
So you just sign in and put your
People-
land.
I mean, yeah, people have been putting their name on Discord, and every couple, 3 weeks, I do a credit dump.
Yeah, and that's been going on since
Woohoo! Start of COVID
50.
almost.
52 was in office when we implemented that. Because that was a discussion he and I had, and
God, that seems like so long ago.
I know, but
Oh.
I mean, Brandy and I had found out that those weren't being entered, and we put in 230 credits over a week. So
Wow.
I'm glad that you're inputting them at least every 3 weeks. That makes me happy because I sign in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And if you sign in 3 times since I last did it, you get 3 credits.
Yeah.
In
For
the Westport's
tracking.
Discord?
It was also a way I was holding classes and sipping with serpents when I was regent.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was
All right.
plugging that into YouTube. So it's got to be an easy way for me who doesn't have control. I got to revisit that. But I think that we should move our chat there. It's easy. People are
Yeah.
accessible on it. There's a lot of people on it.
So yeah, there is a chat group down under voice channels. And oh, this is weird. So Sir Monkey did reply to a comment of mine, and now I don't see it.
Weird.
I saw it like 10 minutes ago.
Right? So yeah, I don't know Discord very well to be able to say what's going on there.
Okay.
I have
make
a
the-
feeling at some point it said you need to upgrade your account for some features I was poking around with. I forget exactly which ones. And of course, it doesn't use the terms, you need to upgrade your account. You need tokens, but that wasn't the word either. It was some young person speak.
Real quick, Kyle says that if there's Halver, it says that if there's any Discord issues that he can fix them. I would like to make a motion that we move our Facebook chat, which is private, to the Discord in a locked channel, which only we can comment on, and that BOD announcements, minutes, and agendas be posted to the West March announcement thread on the Discord.
Can you
In
say that
addition
again?
to CA Amped Guard.
Hold on, are you saying in place of?
In addition to.
In addition to CA Amped. So we create our own thread under there's on here. There is important stuff. We create a new hashtag BOD, which only the BOD can collectively comment on. And then we also add announcements of the BOD requirements, so audits, minutes, and agendas, and our meeting dates and times be announced on the announcements thread within the Discord.
Well, I'm looking here and there's like a board of directors conference room
Where? I don't see that.
on Discord.
It was
I'm not
just
seeing that.
It's
created
under voice channels, which is
under
not a voice channel.
channels.
Oh,
It's voice channels.
wait. Kyle just made this.
The board of
Or
directors? No,
Asus
that's
did.
been,
There's a welcome to hashtag board of directors conference room
I don't have permissions. though.
under voice
So-
channels, and Azus, I can create a sub thread. And then Amanda just posted, and I cannot.
I can't either. So my motion is that we actually utilize this and close out our Facebook chat completely. And we add all of our announcements to the Discord announcement, as well as the Facebook and the CA Ampcard announcements. That's my motion.
Is there going to be any point in time where we're going to need a place to go into a closed chat session?
I believe there have been. Nope, sorry, wrong group.
I don't think so.
I don't think
everything
we've
the
ever had like a
BODs do
closed
is-
BOD meeting
Yeah,
We've never had to.
because
We've
it's
never
transparent.
have
Yeah,
any-
no.
Yeah,
There's
never had any
emergency-
topics
we
that had to
not
be
supposed to
discussed.
specifically not have closed meetings? Like, I seem to recall the Kapora saying that all meetings must be open to
Yeah,
the public.
yeah, the
Yeah.
BOD is very transparent and open. There's other groups that are not, but the BOD's like open. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and that
only
was
thing we
part-
want to keep quiet is if, well, for sharing emails, right? That we probably don't want to do publicly, that we're sharing our private emails with each other, or
Yeah.
if I say, hey, I want you guys to have my number so you can call me to organize whatever.
But that could be
I-
a personal chat thing, like individually between
Right.
each other.
That could be one-to-one, yeah.
But hypothetically speaking, there's no issue that the BOD might need to touch on or address in any weird situation that might need to be private of any nature. I mean,
No.
just if we don't have any types of those situations, then great. And I'm all for it. But if
No,
if
and
there's
if
any
we-
situation that we might have to approach in the future, or that's possibly on the radar that we might need to keep private.
I think we can
don't
burn that bridge when we
think
get to
there-
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
If
Yeah.
something does
Okay.
pop up, we'd have to say, we've got a private announcement. We need to have a private meeting, all in
Mhm.
favor. And hopefully the populace would be asking enough questions to keep us on our toes.
Yeah,
right,
I think
and-
there's
and
some-
so- Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
the way it is two people can have a discussion, but if there's three people, then that's essentially a BOD meeting, and that needs to be public. So
and
I can
technically it
have
would
a
have to be four.
personal, yeah, I can have a personal communication with you, Andy, but if we're talking on the messenger thread and other people chime in, that becomes public, and that is actually a BOD meeting. And that is something that needs to not happen on the messenger thread or potentially in the Discord thread. So we need to really be aware of that.
I have to get going, guys. I'm sorry. My
Okay.
husband's telling me
I
dinner's
would
ready.
like to second the motion.
What's the proposal? What are you seconding?
The motion
That we
is,
utilize the Discord and add all announcements there and close out Facebook chats entirely.
yeah, it's a little more specific than that. It is that we close out our Facebook chat, all announcements that we put on Facebook and CA AmpGuard be also added to the Discord. I think it's very specific about what we post. So that's minutes, audit results, and agendas, as well as the announcement of the BOD meetings. Is that our
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so who's gonna set up, David, are you, there's a,
yeah, I've
There's
already
already
been
the
working with
meeting
Owlbear to
room.
get it started, so I'll continue with
Okay.
that.
all right,
I posted an invite in the soon-to-be dead chat.
okay,
Because I'm having trouble finding. I can create the invite button, but I can't find people's names easily.
I'm going to log
Oh.
out. Have a great night, guys.
okay, bye, thanks,
Good night.
Kristen. Okay, so the next item on the
Um,
agenda is,
Something slight to go with that. I'm sorry, just real fast.
uh-huh.
I know some Discord groups have a requirement to list your park and your name. I think that might be a good idea for, like, you change your nickname to your AmpGuard name and your park so that you're easy to find. I think that might be a good idea for the Discord, just because otherwise it can get very confusing knowing who's who.
Okay.
So, like, do other people think that would be a good idea?
I think that's outside the scope of the BOD.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a
let's-
good idea.
For the BOD specific Discord chat?
Well, no,
Let's-
it's on the basic West March one.
You can't change just the name on the BOD chat. You'd have to do it for the whole West March.
I
Yep.
see it for server and I see it for public everyone. Yeah, I don't see anything for a specific channel.
Okay.
Let's move on for tonight. We're almost at like almost 3 hours. Okay. I'd kind of like to move on to officers insurance. Amanda, are you still here?
Yep, I am still here. I don't have an update on that one yet. I have waiting to hear back from one more insurance company and formatting my spreadsheet. But now that we have a full BOD, I can get a slightly more accurate quote and go from there. So I should have a better update next time.
Okay, so for March, do I have any motions to table this officers insurance to the March BOD meeting?
I move to table.
Second,
I'll second, if I can second myself. Yeah.
sure. Do I have all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that one is tabled until March. The yearly operation schedule tax filings. I was able to check the West March PO box, and I got a notice from the Secretary of State that the SI 100 is due to be filed by April 30th of this year.
What? So that's supposed to be every 2 years, and I just updated that.
I'm just saying, dude,
October?
that's like, I finally went to the PO box.
Well, so that's gonna cost us all of $25. big money. And 10 minutes, because I think all I do is type in your names and copy and paste the PO box. The CEO, the secretary, and the CFO. Top of my head.
And the CFO is currently,
Myself.
okay. So there's the SI 100 and that is biennial, so that's required this
April.
year.
All righty.
I'm just asking, because I had it on the bottom of the agenda, the $20 fee biennially is now $25. And then there's
Sorry,
also,
just to clear,
go ahead, sorry.
sorry, just to clarify for the notes, that was CEO, CFO, and Monarch?
The Monarch
Or
is
who?
the CEO.
Yeah.
Monarch, PM, and secretary.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, so CEO, CFO, and PM?
BOD secretary.
BOD secretary. Oh, so me, right?
Just out of curiosity, why not president, treasurer, and secretary of the BOD? I'm confused.
For Kapora, the Monarch is the CEO. And the Prime Minister is the CFO.
Okay.
So we
I
set up
think-
our bylaws 12 years ago. Yeah.
I use it on my resume to get my current job.
Mm-hmm.
Helpful.
And then, the other tax filing, so, Azus, you're gonna take care of that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so motion to table until March,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So we'll pick that up again in March. The next thing is, the 199-N California State Franchise Tax Board, due May 15th. That's an annual thing?
That's the annual, that's our tax filings.
Do
I
when?
already have accounts
May
set up.
15th.
Yeah, I have accounts set up with IRS for filing that. And it's ridiculously simple to file. The treasurer, if Kaya wanted to do it, she could. She'd have to create a account of her own, which is about half of the effort and time spent filing. It's ridiculously simple. So I can just do it and then provide the receipts to you guys.
So a motion that you will take care of the 199N tax filing and have an update for us at the next meeting?
Sure,
It's not due until May 15th.
Yeah,
Do you want to
for the
revisit it, just
SI
table it?
100, I want to table it, and it's occurring to me the SI 100. When I was last year getting things not finished with Wells Fargo, they did look up the tax filings, the SI 100 reports. How often do I want to change that just before I go talk to Wells Fargo again? Might it be better if I just wait until after Wells Fargo is fixed before changing all the names again?
Yeah,
Especially
So-
since we've got a couple of months to get it done.
yeah. So I say we table it while we're working on the Wells Fargo snafu.
Table
Okay,
it with
so-
the understanding that I won't be late filing it.
So it's the 199N that's being tabled, right?
Both of them.
Okay, both of them. And
Yeah.
what was the first one called again?
The
SI 100.
SI 100. Okay, got it.
So the SI 100 is due by mid-April. The 199N is due by May 15th. And a motion has been made to table both of those until March meeting, while Azus works on getting the Wells Fargo account names transferred.
Yeah, at a minimum, getting Robbie off of those accounts.
Basically,
And Kaya already started a conversation with myself and Robbie about getting that done.
Okay.
So,
so all in favor of tabling that to next month? Okay,
Hi.
great.
Bye.
So that was tabled. The other one is the RRS 990N. IRS form. That's also due May 15th. I would say that would probably also be tabled until we get the Wells Fargo names adjusted.
it doesn't have to be, but yeah, we can table it. Pending update.
We might as well group them all together.
Yeah,
All in favor? Is there a second? I guess I made a motion.
Oh,
to add that.
second,
All in favor?
I second.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right. And then let's see, what else do we have? Tax filings, the West March tithe to AI. Brian, do you have a report on that?
No,
Have you contacted them at all as far as, do we need to pay the 600 and something annual tithe to them?
no, I haven't heard anything back yet. I'll let you know as soon as I do, though.
So, do we have a motion to table the AI tithe to, the tithe to AI?
I move, or I
Second.
second Brian's motion.
Yeah, I
Okay.
motioned it. Yeah.
All in favor?
Hi.
We'll pick that up next month. And then the Wells Fargo situation, I think we've discussed that.
Yeah,
That's, we're gonna be, you and Kaya and Leoric will be working on getting that finished by our next meeting in March. Right?
yeah, hopefully. Depends on our schedules, but sure.
All right, so a motion to table that until March.
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Amanda and Rose, I can't see your vote, so,
Hi.
okay, Rose,
One,
The baby just pulled her device off the table, but she votes aye.
okay, thank you. And then the other thing that I didn't have on the agenda, but I did pick up when I was looking through things, is the website move. I'm sorry, I know it's really late, but we have been working last year on the website move of the CA Amped Guard website. I don't remember, I know Fenra was working on it and Fix was working on it, and then Brandy was working on it. And I'm not sure if Amanda had picked it up, but I wanted to add it to, I guess, new business. Because I think it needs to still be on our website, our radar, as far as moving the website and not letting that drop. Does anybody have any information on that?
Nope, no
I
new news.
I have been trying to pull up my page here. Right. So there's really no new news. We started a group chat with Brandy, but it doesn't appear that Brandy has read any of the messages in this group chat. I spoke with, refresh my memory on that conversation.
Ian,
It wasn't just Ian.
right, and Grix.
No.
Hmm.
No, so I think Ian was gonna try to get in touch with Sir Grix.
Right.
And he hasn't had a chance to do that. I can see about getting in touch with Grix. In general, though, I'm not sure if Brandy is still interested in helping with that. I should probably message her directly. And we should probably ask at this point and see if she is, and if not, come up with a plan B.
Well, plan B is just we restart it. It's going to be Ian since he manages so much of the current site, and we need Grix because the site is in his name. So any domain transfer he'll have to approve. Once we get that set up, well, we're going to have to figure out who, and we might as well just go with what Brandy started so we don't have to hunt for anyone. Show the contract to the BOD so they can review it. And then just start it. The biggest problem has been myself and Ian have been slammed by life and work the past couple months, and that right there is why he and I haven't done anything. And I imagine Brandy's busy, but at this point, I think we just restart without her.
So what I would like to see is I would like to get a current state of where we're at. We need information from Brandy as far as where she got, information from Amanda as far as where she got. Fenra actually was doing website design or something like that. And I don't know if any information she has at this point is still relevant. Information from Fix, as far as where we're at. We need to like collect now where we're at with the current people we have. And what do we need? You know what I mean? What do we need to do? It's because it's been this nebulous thing that's been kind of pushed off. That's been important, but between real life and COVID and all of that stuff, it just hasn't really happened. So is there somebody that could spearhead collecting where we're at, what we have, what do we need to do to get the website updated and moved and report to the March BOD meeting?
I think where we're at with everybody is nope. I don't know how much Brandy got, and we haven't gotten a response, but we might as well just say we start from scratch. I don't think she got any information she does have. We can just restart it. It's just been a matter of, even if we got an update from her, we wouldn't have done anything because we've just been too busy with other things. Yeah, we'll just restart. We might as well just go with the same company she was suggesting because it seems like a good one, and just restart it.
So who wants to be responsible for finding that company and where we're at and making a report to the next BOD so that we're current and we can make progress on this for this year? Because this has been like a 2-year long thing. And I think we either need to do it or we don't. Just my opinion.
Right.
Does that make sense? Am I being too strident?
No, in order to get it done, we need to get it done. Life's been really difficult the past couple months.
I know it's been difficult the last couple of years.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
So
is there anybody that would be willing to take this on as a project?
Ask me again next month.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's table this till next month. Because we've had a really long meeting and I know everybody's really tired and I'm tired, but let's keep it on the old business. And then let's work on it this year and see if we can get it done by the end of the year.
All righty.
Is that cool? Okay.
I think that sounds good.
Okay, so
I think once we get started and actually get started, it take a month. So end of the year should be, once we get started, we could be done by June.
Well, we've said that for the last 2 years, dude.
Yeah, but no one's actually really gotten started.
I know. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna run the meeting. So I need somebody to make a motion to table this until March.
I move we table till March.
I
Second,
second.
all right, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so that's on the
Aye.
agenda. Sweet. Does anyone, that's all that I have for old business. Deep breath. Does anybody have any new business? Sweet, crickets. Okay, so as far as scheduling the March meeting, what we've done in the past as far as audits go is if the lands want to review their audit review and they want to submit any additional material to upgrade from, David, remind me, is it from a fail to a pass?
Yeah, it's
That they
failed to
have-
pass, but
that
they
they have
can't
until-
get from pass to excellent because
Yeah, no, pass, it's from a fail to a pass, that they have
Yeah.
until the end of the month to resubmit the missing material. Right?
yeah,
And if they do that, then we need to meet earlier concerning their audit revision submissions.
there's been times we've done votes. God, a long time ago, we voted on CAM card regarding revisions as opposed to a official meeting.
Hey, just to check, Thor's Refuge would be the only only park eligible for this, right?
Hold on, let me look.
I believe so.
Yeah, because Belial Peaks and Idris Hall just didn't submit an audit. Absolutely.
Crimson, what was the result?
Crimsonwood was a pass.
Yeah,
Idris Hall was a fail, not received. Belial Peaks was a fail, not received. TR
Uh,
was a fail. Fail.
yeah. So
And
yeah,
so-
TR would be the only ones if they can find the missing stuff.
So I think in what would be fair would be to reach out to, it's gonna be the previous reigns PM, right? Or the previous PM to supply, or is it the current PM?
The current officers.
So
And
it would
let's
be
say
up
the
to
current
the current,
monarchy, because it doesn't have to be one person.
so it would be the current monarchy to find the missing material by, let's see, what would it be, March 1st?
That's kind of tight on
Submit-
timing for that.
Well, and then you've got February is 28 days. So,
Yeah.
ordinarily it's like 30 or 31 days. So, I mean,
So
I
that'd be
would
like
be,
Audits done at the
days.
same time each year?
yes, but the resubmission would be, let me see, hold on.
Well, when do we want to meet next?
Hold on a second. That's next. So as far as allowing lands to resubmit amendments to their audit for a evaluation for an upgrade from a fail to a pass.
Timing
And
is gonna be
that's gonna
tight.
influence when we meet next. So I'm just, give me a second here.
Is there any reason we couldn't just give them a month for it, seeing as either they're gonna have it or not?
Yeah, but they need time to collect what they need. And I'm not sure. Oh, hold on, let me just search. Give me a minute. I think what we've done in the past is we've allowed lands to submit supplemental information before the 30-day time period to be able to get an upgrade from failed to pass. Let me find it.
So we need to post results within 1 month of the deadline. The deadline was February 1st.
Right,
So that means we've got to post our results March 1st, or else everyone gets an automatic.
right, which is
Excellent.
right, which is
which
what we did
means-
for COVID.
Basically, Thor's Refuge has 1 week to submit their stuff. That gives us 1 night to take a look at it and say, vote on Discord, because it's going to be hard setting up a video meeting.
Yes,
What's the likely? I mean, we should offer them that. I don't know if they're going to be able to find the stuff.
I think we need to offer it. I think that that's fair. They need to have a chance to fill in whatever is missing.
Yeah. So I move we give Thor's Refuge until the 27th to submit missing information. We will all vote on Discord by 11:59 and 59 seconds PM on February 28th, so that March 1st we can post the audit results.
And it needs to be before midnight on March 1st.
Yeah,
So should we just say review it by the 27th?
yeah.
Yeah.
But if
Okay,
someone wants
so
to second, we can
submitted-
have an official vote.
Okay, just to clear up for the notes. So the motion is to give to the 27th to submit information, and then we would vote by the 28th or by the 27th.
Midnight, the
would-
28th, before March 1st.
We would vote,
Okay,
the 20, before 11:59 and 59 seconds on February 28th. So that gives us 1 day to take a look at the information.
And then March 1st,
Okay.
before midnight, we need to post all the audit results.
Yes,
And that's the secretary needs to post those. Okay, Rose?
yep.
Okay, so
So that would be a second round of posting though, because they need to know the results in order to know that they need to submit stuff, right? Or do I wait till after they've been contacted and we have the second vote to post the result?
they need to be contacted and told what they're missing and what needs to be supplied. So give me a minute.
Okay, so after the vote would be the first and only posting of the results. We wouldn't do 2.
correct.
Okay, just wanted to be clear on that.
So Thor's Refuge needs bank account statements. They need a ledger. And then they were a barony at the time. So they need Crown Qual's results and election results. Is that right? Do you guys agree?
We did not require Crown Qual results for pretty much any of our land.
Yeah, we should
Right,
probably adhere to
elections were
that base
happening while
list.
COVID shutdown was going on, so.
Okay, so they need to do a ledger and bank statements. Is that what we're gonna ask them to supply?
I think.
We
So?
need to be specific
And
on what they
election
need
information
to
I'd ask for.
submit to be able to move from a fail to a pass.
So we tabled the ledger requirement discussion. Are we going to require it even though we tabled it? Did you guys hear me?
I did. I'm just thinking of, I'm just looking at,
Okay, no worries. I was just worried I'd cut out again.
no, no, I'm just, so they have a bank account. Okay, I know they have a bank account. They're a barony, but I know they have a bank account. I'd like to see their bank account statements.
Okay, so I have bank account statements and election results.
And the ledger.
Are they
Yeah.
barony? They're marked as a duchy on the sheet.
And that's wrong. They're a barony. They demoted to a barony for this audit, and then they self-demoted for the next period to a shire. But for this one, they're a barony. So a bank account, if they have it, is required. They should have ledger records, period. Advertising, we're kind of meh on that. They were required to hold calls as a barony.
But we
And-
didn't require that for pretty much anyone.
Yeah, and then election results, they, you know, they should have election results. Because they
And if they-
elected, huh?
Yeah, and if they didn't have original, they should also have a list of dues paid players that they could go and say, hey, how did you vote? You know, like that should
Yeah.
be recreatable.
Yeah, so they have the dues, they should have a list of dues paid. So what I would propose is that they provide election results. And they
Provide bank statements.
bank statements and election results.
When was the paperwork thrown out? When was the ledger thrown out? And unless it was thrown out, you know, after December 31st, they should have a new ledger for their current funds, right? So where's their new ledger?
If they're on a yearly ledger, yeah, that is a question.
I think
I mean,
that's
even
gonna,
if they aren't, I mean, a perpetual ledger, if the ledger was thrown out in November, they should have a ledger starting December, starting with old ledger thrown out, current cash count.
Yeah, this is
I-
true.
I think that and I'm gonna probably kind of need to resend a little bit, since it's my home park. I'm gonna say you guys decide. You guys decide what you think they need for the upgrade from a fail to a pass. And then they need to be informed of that and given the deadline of February 27th.
I, at the very least, would like to see a screenshot of their current bank statement or bank statements. I'm think I'm a little flexible on the rest.
I personally feel that they should have to do the bank statements and the election results. They are, I think I remember the one that listed it on the audit, and I think that because we tabled that, it's unfair to hit them for it. I could be wrong though, if I'm misremembering.
I want to see bank statements, and if they don't have a ledger, then what date? What date did the new prime minister take over that he didn't get the old stuff? And why they don't have a ledger from there. But whatever ledger they've got, and they may be down for a full audit, including previous prime ministers, because that's taking a look of 2019 between checking and savings, that's $600 in the bank. I don't know. I didn't see what was in their cash box, but they've got missing
I
money.
double checked and nope, they weren't the park I was thinking of. They didn't submit a ledger of any kind. So yeah, they should submit a ledger.
Oh, there's their ledger. From 2019, they had uh ooh, up and down, but they had a few $100 cash box on and off. Okay, 2019 they had $132 as of November 2019. So that's $800 now from 2019 to they need to provide a ledger.
Agreed. They should have a ledger, bank statements, and election results. Does that sound right to everyone?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So can I have a motion for what we want TR to supply by February 27th to upgrade them from a fail to a pass, please?
Motion to supply bank account statements, election results, and a ledger at least citing how much money they currently have.
Second,
Second.
votes? I'm abstaining.
I vote aye on this.
Rose?
I approve my own motion.
Okay, so can I have someone volunteer to reach out to, I guess, the current prime minister, which I think is Leon?
Sure, I'll reach out.
Thank you.
Okay,
quick
just to make
question.
sure I have it right. I'm pretty sure I do, but I just want to make sure. So the motion is to provide that by the 27th. We will vote on it by the 28th. Results to be posted by the 1st, and the things being provided are bank account statements, election results, and ledger.
Right, and we're gonna wait on posting all of the audit results until then, is that right? Just so I know.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we'll only do one post of audit results
Right.
by March 1st.
Right, and we're gonna be looking at Discord now instead of the Facebook Messenger.
Correct.
Okay, just
Let's make
so I
sure
re-
we've got it working the way we want before we transfer it over, but yes.
okay. All right. So hey, guess what? Guess what the next agenda item is? I know you've all been waiting for this.
Next meeting,
Next meeting. Unless
because we
anybody has
always
any
want
new
more
business,
meetings.
and if you have new business, I'm shooting you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be in Arizona the weekend of the 24th through the 27th. So do you, anybody have any preferences on when we meet again? Just to be kind of aware, March 13th is daylight savings. And March where we spring ahead. And then March 20th is the first day of spring. There's a lot of springing in March.
I don't have a preference. It looks like I'm fairly open that entire month. I don't yet have plans.
One sec, I need to do some math on something that I do every other week.
Now, I mean, we were in Arizona this week and we made it.
Guys have done a great job. Welcome to the BOD.
Not all meetings are this annoying.
This is like the most
is
intense
this-
one of the year.
Yeah, this was, well, it's not only that, but it's the first real audit meeting for like 2 years.
Oh, God.
I think you guys, we've done
Yeah.
well. We've done well. It was tough.
Would
to
Sunday
normal.
the 13th?
6 p.m. What time do you want to meet?
What day are we talking?
Sunday, the 13th? Sundays seem to work well for everybody.
Works good for me.
So the next meeting won't be, hopefully, nearly as long as this, like, oh my gosh, 3.5 hours.
The 13th, I'm actually, both me and Andy have to be somewhere.
Okay.
We could do the 6th or the 20th.
How about the 20th, the 6th? Oh, I could do the 6th. Doesn't
I
matter.
prefer the 20th.
20th gets us time to not do anything.
What
It's a
time do
little
you
more
guys,
ti- Yeah,
what time do you
6?
guys want to meet? We could do later, 7 or 6, because it's not gonna be, well, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be as long a meeting, but it's not an audit meeting, so,
It'll be easier.
yeah. What time do you guys want to meet? 6, 6:30, 7, you pick.
6 is fine for me.
Rose is busy until 4, so 6 probably works for us.
Okay.
6 o'clock.
6
It is
o'clock.
also on our never looked at West March Google Calendar.
Ooh.
So 6
this-
o'clock,
Yeah.
March 20th. Do I have a second for that?
I second.
All in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
Thumbs up.
Hi.
We get it done.
Brian,
We
you only have
go.
one thumb up. Get that second thumb up. Okay, there we go. Okay, sweet. All right, so I'll see you guys Sunday, March 20th at 6 o'clock.
Sounds good.
See you then.
Okay, thanks.
Oh,
Thanks for
I
hanging
guess
in
we
there.
should.
We did a good job.
We probably want to put a post up on Facebook. Yeah, that we're meeting on the 20th.
Absolutely. I'll do that right
Okay.
now since I kind of slacked on the meeting for tonight.
All righty.
All right. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, okay?
Good night.
All right.
Good
Thank you
night.
for all your
Bye.
hard work.